I don't know. I find it hard to go to sleep when I have something like this. If it's a shoot,
Yeah,
a recording, or now podcast. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. I know that you don't sleep so
I'm the
much, at least.
insomniac. Yeah.
In the insomniac. Oh boy. Yeah. I've been struggling with sleep too. It's tough when you
Okay,
have too many things going on,
I understand. Yeah.
and there's this weird thing with me. Throughout the day, especially for creative projects, throughout the day, I try to work. I try to do edits or writing or whatever the hell that is, but nothing happens. Nothing happens, and the entire day is wasted. And by when it hits like midnight, all of a sudden I'm cranking.
Okay.
And then you have to sleep. You can't.
Yeah.
You don't have too much time to spend on the work. So I end up like staying up till like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then going to sleep and waking up early in the morning to go to work. So
Mm.
like a zombie throughout the day.
But
Tough life, man.
you said that nothing happens. Like you try to get something
Yeah,
done, but nothing happens. But something does happen though, right? Because you're working in your head.
exactly. I think that's the thing. Like usually, I guess when we were kids, like you're in the back of your brain, everything just formulates throughout the day, and you have your entire day to dream.
True.
But as an adult, you don't have that luxury. You know,
Yeah.
whether it comes to work or dealing with life, family, whatever that is, you going on with your life, and then you really have to turn that switch on and off when you want to
True.
work on your creative stuff. So then nothing flows when you want to
Yeah.
work. It takes time to rev up and get into the gear.
True.
So I don't know. I guess it seems that way.
Yeah. What are you working on these days, though? Because I never really got the chance to speak to you in the recent
Yeah,
past. So, yeah.
yeah. So it's been interesting. Um, Quarantine kind of gave me a little bit of free time. Um, because uh, I didn't go out of work. I've been working from home throughout the current time period and even going forward right now. So it didn't, create too much of time for me. But the socializing time and going to the gym parts and all that kind of stuff was gone. So there was a vacuum in the evenings. So then, I started getting back into the routine of creating stuff, and I started writing shit and started
Okay.
drawing again and all that kind of stuff. But
All right.
um, I think that all of those were kind of like warm up stuff. And what really got me going was finishing up the movie that I've been working on for the last couple of years. I think you know about it, the
Dishti.
horror film. Yeah, Dishti.
Dishti. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I had a tough time finishing it last year due to many reasons, and finally, I got into the rhythm, and I'm almost
Excellent.
done. I'm
Okay.
almost done. Yeah.
That's good news. All right.
Yeah, yeah. So right now the edit is pretty much locked. I need to do a few more tweaks tonight and over the next few days, and then it'll be done. And then my man Jonathan is already doing the musical composing stuff. So once that's done, Ramesh will be doing VFX, and
All right.
probably within a couple of months, or maybe like 3-4 months, maybe it'll be done. So
Excellent.
that's great. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Other than
Jonathan
that,
is the guy who did
imperfection as well. Yeah,
Imperfection as well, and you guys
yeah,
won.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. ISFM. What was it? Homegrown. Homegrown.
Homegrown Music
Yeah.
Awards
Yes.
2018, I reckon. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, he won the best or
Yeah.
the most popular music or something like that. Yeah, I can't even remember
True.
now.
All right. You were gonna
Don't
say
keep track
something.
on.
Yeah.
Um, did I? I
Yeah.
forget. It's all right. It'll come back.
Oh, okay.
How have you been?
Oh, not too bad. Just
Yeah.
getting used to stuff. Couldn't really
Yeah.
proceed with my plans because
Mhm.
of the lockdown. So yeah, it was a lot of staying at home.
Yeah.
and yeah, writing shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, thinking of
That's
ways to express myself. Yeah.
I know. I know. Recently, I kind of explained that to someone. um, that whole the creative. What do you call it? When you can't do anything, when you can't create anything, or when you miss it for a long time, you become really miserable, and you kind of like feels like something's missing from your life. And
True.
I kind of explain it as like that's kind of like the gift and the curse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You just
yeah,
sounded like a superhero. Yeah.
gift and the curse. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I got a bunch of them on my wall. So hey,
yeah.
yeah.
Have you been sketching lately? I did see a few things. I did also see like the Statue of Liberty. Well, what's
Oh
that
yeah.
all about? Yeah. Tell
Oh
us.
yeah. That. Well, I've started sketching again, and trying to. I'm kind of like I kind of use sketching as like a way of getting into the creative rhythm,
Okay.
because it's kind of like a meditation for me. I kind of like completely zone out and get into that flow. So I really love that. Um, yeah, that Statue of Liberty thing that came out during the whole
The
George
Black
Floyd.
Lives Matter.
Yeah, the Black Lives
Okay.
Matter, George Floyd's situation in USA. Um, I mean, your audience might not know, but I live in Canada right now, so it's right next door, and things are pretty bad.
Okay.
So yeah, so it kind of like hits close, and I've seen it too many times here, and not in Canada particularly, but in US mostly, and
All right.
kind of like shitty. So it was kind of like a response to that. You know,
Uh-huh.
it was a worthy cause, and it's it's real and it's happening. So I kind of felt like as you said, like part of my expression.
Okay. So you said that you've experienced it a couple of times. So, like first-hand experience, like you
Yeah,
witnessed it.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, actually hanging out with people,
Okay.
and you're in a room. So in those kind of circumstances, you're required. Um,
All right.
Other than that, no. Yeah. So
Over here in
each
start you
area
please.
has its own. Yeah, each area has its own rules and regulations. I would say. Yeah.
But you must be knowing what's going on over here in Sri Lanka, right? It's
Yeah, yeah,
compulsory,
yeah.
and you get fined if you don't wear it. So
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
yeah, they fine you $750. What's that in Canadian dollars?
Mm. I mean, about $5.
Yeah, so you get
Yeah.
fined five
But seven
bucks.
fifty in Sri Lanka is for someone.
It's
You
like
know,
a
it's a
laborer's day salary.
yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
day's wage,
So
yeah.
yeah, so it's not good.
Yeah. So that's what's going down here.
Yeah. I for some reason I thought Sri Lanka handled it very well.
They did. I reckon they did. But
Yeah.
how did you guys see it?
I don't know. I think some of the Asian countries handled the situation pretty darn well than most of the others. And I mean, everybody had their own way of handling it. I think that's the differentiator. Uh, yeah, and I think at the beginning the problem was like nobody understood what the hell it is and what it
True.
does, and the impact of it. So things got out of hand, and then soon they realized it. Yeah, I know there was a big military involvement in Sri Lanka in
Yeah.
terms of tackling. I think that was a good step.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree too.
especially in countries like Sri Lanka, India, and um, where you have a bigger population in a smaller area, and you have all sorts of like education levels, and um, it's really hard to control. It's really hard to educate, and having that uniform and having that disciplined uniform in the streets helps
True.
to control things like this. I mean, no, I'm not advocating military state or military governments or whatever, but that discipline kinds of help to organize things and tackle things in a more meaningful way. I
Especially in
think that's what.
Southeast Asian countries
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's what
because of the
happened in Sri Lanka.
culture and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
So, and
So
in
how?
in some yeah. Sorry.
No, please, you go ahead, Blaine.
No, I think in what I was going to say is, and in particular in Sri Lanka, like people have a larger respect for the military,
True.
so that helped too. Yeah.
Yeah. How did the pandemic affect your line of work, like filmmaking as well as um your other job?
Filmmaking, basically things got shut down here, and right now they're kind of creating safe ways of like opening filmmaking back. And there's some certification that you can do online in terms of safety practices and whatnot. So things are slowly opening back, but in British Columbia, the filmmaking industry is largely dependent on the Hollywood. It's all the TV shows that you see, majority of the films that you watch, they are made in Vancouver, Victoria, these
That's what
areas.
I was just gonna ask you.
Yeah, it's basically called the Hollywood North, and all the production happens there. Here,
Okay.
I mean, so that's heavily impacted because the borders are still closed and no one can travel between, and so none of those things happen. So so essentially, all the film production, major film productions, at least, on hold until
Okay.
further notice. Yeah. Um, Independent stuff, I think they can happen still if you be creative about what you're going to do, what kind of stories you're telling, and how you're going to do it.
True.
Yeah, I
So
think
how do you think this reflected on theatrical distribution, theatrical releases, major studio movies? Mm,
really
you know,
bad. Really bad. I mean, I can't remember a time where I haven't been to a theater for longer than 3 months. Oh, it's been more than that now.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Have
that's bad.
have they opened up the cinemas
No,
over there yet?
no,
Okay.
not yet,
All right.
not yet. I think I think they're planning to open it next week.
Okay.
So I don't know how it'll work. Um, yeah, because Chris Nolan's film is about to get released next
I'm
week.
so looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, Tenet. Yeah, yeah. That's coming up. So I think they might open with like limited seating or something like that. I'm not
Mm,
too sure how it'll work out, but yeah. So I'm hopeful. But at the same time, I think it's a good reminder for people who are in the industry, to find ways of making films in a smaller scale and telling good stories. I mean, you and
true.
I, like, we call ourselves guerrilla filmmakers, and
Yeah. Hell yeah.
this is what we've been always doing.
True.
Give us like 3 people crew, and we'll make a film.
We'll yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And but
Oh,
yeah,
that's
but
that's how
most of the
you made
people,
your first feature film. It was a guerrilla movie, right?
yeah, even the current one is like that. Pretty much every
So
movie that I've done is
so
guerrilla.
how can people watch? How can they get access to watching your first movie? It is available on Vimeo
It's a
and YouTube
Yeah.
Red still.
Well, Vimeo is down right now, but all my films are on YouTube.
Okay, so
Yeah,
pay per
I
view
have
or like is it
no free.
free? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So I'll
yeah.
okay.
I can. Yeah, we can plug it later on. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. The feature Imperfection had a couple of festival runs, and we showed it in a couple of theaters, private screenings and stuff like that. And then I kind of love my joy of filmmaking comes when people start watching stuff,
true. Well,
and
that's the whole point of
commenting,
it,
and
right? Yeah,
exactly. I sometimes like even can't even wait until once you finish a film. I can't wait to put it on a screen, whether it's a TV or like a mobile phone or a theater. I
yeah,
can't wait for like film festivals and all this bullshit to turn out. And
yeah.
yeah, I hate that.
I could
So
totally
yeah,
relate to that. I even fuck it up sometimes by getting overexcited and releasing
yeah,
posters before the movie's even complete. And yeah,
yeah. I do the same thing. How do you like to watch your films, especially when you're like releasing it brand new? Like I'll give you my experience. Like I usually like to sit or stand at the very end of this theater if it is a theater, and I like to look at all the people, not the movie, but the people, their reactions and what they feel. That's the geeky joy that I have when I read
Uh,
film. I don't know what about.
I could relate to that. Similar. I
Yeah,
like to be discreet and observe the
yeah,
audience.
yeah.
Yeah, their
So much
reaction
fun.
and yeah, the more they engaged with the movie, the better
Hmm.
we feel. But yeah, it even
Yeah,
scares you when they yawn, right? It's like, oh shit, he's yawning, she's yawning.
yeah.
Okay, I hope it's just one yawn. Um,
I know, I know,
yeah.
because uh, when we were getting ready to release Imperfection, one of the goals that we had was like, okay, we can't have a yawn in the theater.
Okay.
That was the standard. I had like
All
two
right.
standard. I wanted no yawns in the theater, but I'm pretty sure I achieved that because yes, there are parts that are boring. And then I wanted people to stand up and leave the theater saying it's whatever, violent or bad or whatever. And I
Yeah.
achieved both.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
Yeah. uh, I remember distinctly remember when I was screening it for the first time here. um, you know two or three people got up and started walking out,
Uh,
and I just stepped out from the theater and I was coming back, and so I met them, and I was like, oh, you're leaving. I'm sorry, it's bad, I said. And then, oh, no, 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 it's good. It's just too violent, I can't handle it, sorry, I didn't know. I was
all
like,
right.
oh.
Were they like young people or like older?
No, no, they were, I would say, somewhere between 30 to 40, something like that, 30s, 40s.
All right, and they couldn't handle it. The violence, I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
Okay.
I personally don't think it's violent.
Me too,
Um,
because I've seen it like 100
exactly.
times. Yeah.
I mean, again, dude, like you
Yeah.
and me, our brains are fucked up anyways. So,
Yeah.
so who are we to judge?
True. Yeah.
uh, but because it's funny because that was something that I had in my mind, like okay, when I screen something of my own, I want that to happen, I want to experience that. And it
True.
happened, and I was like so fucking happy.
Okay.
And because everybody else was, oh my god, they left the screening, and I was like jumping up and down, oh my god, they left the screening because of this reason.
Well, yeah, yeah. Think of it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you hear the stories about cons and people getting up and leaving and booing and having a scene
True.
at the theaters. um so it's fun.
Um, Tell me a little bit about how you got here. Like, I mean, you're a kid from Anuradhapura or Kandy?
Mm-hmm. Anuradhapura.
Yeah. So, are you a self-made filmmaker?
Yeah, I can say that for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So, how did you get
Yeah.
here?
Oh. Well, yeah, I was born and raised in Anuradhapura, and my mom is from Nugegoda, but my dad is from Kandy, but they were all living in Anuradhapura, and then that's where I was born, and that's there I was brought up. So that is my hometown. Um, Even when I was there, I think I started drawing comics when I was like a little kid. That was my jam, like watching cartoons and reading all the comic papers, not the English comics, but the Sinhala comics,
Okay.
Sittara Sattara, and I don't know whether you've had the pleasure of reading those things, but in the 80s,
No,
that
I
was the big
couldn't
thing.
read them, but I remember seeing them,
Yeah.
like especially Gajaman.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yes, I remember
Yeah.
Gajaman.
Yeah. And then there were like all the rip-off stories from like there was
Conan the
even
Barbarian, I think.
there was a rip-off of
I
Conan the
remember
Barbarian as.
seeing something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there was, I think that was called Toga. And then there
Toga.
was,
Okay.
yeah, and then there was the Sergio Leone movies with Clint Eastwood.
The Good, the Bad,
All
the
of them
Ugly.
were,
Okay.
yeah, all of them were ripped into comic strips
All right. What
in
was it
those things.
called? Uh huh.
Um, I think one of it was called Trigger,
Okay.
and they drew
Wow.
Clint.
Okay.
Yeah, they drew Clint Eastwood as it is, and it was like amazing art.
Okay.
Um, and because I was watching those movies as a kid, simultaneously reading it on the paper. Actually the comic paper was the first introduction to Clint Eastwood, because that's where I saw that thing.
All
And
right.
then And then when I um, first saw, I think Fistful of Dollars, and I was like, "Oh, this is Trigger." And oh, it's
Okay.
not Trigger; it has something else. And and
All right.
then I was making the connection. Uh, but yeah, but that was a really cool culture that opened up a lot of people into that visual storytelling.
We
So
don't
that's where.
get that anymore, right? Not
I
anymore.
don't
Not
think
now,
so.
right?
No, no.
No, I've never really seen any comic strips or whatever.
No, yeah, I know a few people who are in that particular line of work. I think they try to bring it back to life.
Are you
I don't
talking
think
about this
the
famous
comic
dude?
stuff.
What's his name? He's a friend of yours. He did his
Hmm.
own. He released his own. He published his own comic a couple of years ago.
Are you
He
talking
also
about?
collaborated with some DC.
Oh, are you talking about Sachi?
Sachi, yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, Sachi publishes own comic strip, and he's doing like a lot of Marvel, DC, fan art kind of stuff, and he's doing his own original work as well. I'm
Okay.
not talking about that line. I'm talking about the
You're talking
singlies.
about the stuff we
Yeah,
talked
the
about.
original
Okay.
guys.
All right.
Yeah, the
Original
original
guys.
guys.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, so the guys who did it back in the 80s, they kind of like came back to life around, I don't know, to 2010 or something like that. And
All right.
they tried to get it back, but I don't think it worked. But it's like there somewhere, like really small, like a small
Okay.
French movement. But the artists are still there, and there's new artists around, and they're experimenting. But the only problem that I see with what they're doing is um, they haven't they haven't evolved. They're
Okay.
still doing the same thing that happened in 80s,
All right.
which is
I
great for
I I got
yeah.
you, but I didn't get you at the same time. Like, if you could elaborate a
Yeah,
little
for
more.
sure. So what I mean by that is their style of drawing, or their style of storyboarding, the layouts and everything. They're still the same 80s stuff, and
All
even
right.
the stories and the structure and kind of stories that they're trying to tell are very close to what they were doing in the 80s. So they don't relate to the modern audience. They
Okay.
just play they just play to the nostalgia of kids
Mm.
like us.
All right.
Uh, but I mean, they're great in their own way. I'm not looking down on them, but what I'm talking about is like if they were to get bigger or grab a bigger audience, I think they need to evolve from there. So I don't see that happening.
So is this intentional or is this
I don't know.
lack of knowledge?
Could be
I
both.
mean, we're not questioning their artistic skill,
Yeah.
right?
No.
We're
No.
talking
No. No.
about the marketability, right?
Hmm. Because I love their stuff, and I know a couple of them, and so I think either they're not aware of it, they haven't thought about it, or something. Yeah, something's missing somewhere.
Uh huh.
Yeah, but because they're amazing artists. These guys can pump out like top quality storyboards on a page within a matter of hour or two.
All
Crazy.
right.
These
Okay.
guys are like yeah. And I think there's lack of guidance for sure from someone on the top who
Well,
can see the
that's the case with all industries, right? Filmmaking,
exactly.
well, except music, I reckon. Music is doing better, right,
Yeah.
compared to films and anything else. What do you
Yeah,
reckon?
I think so. I think so. At the same time, I anything short form can excel better than the long form arts from
In
my
Sri
perspective.
Lanka,
Anywhere.
anywhere. Okay,
Music is a short format. It's like it's a 3 to 4 minute
true.
piece. uh, yeah, it's still hard, and it's still a lot of effort and talent to produce something, but it's really quick,
Yeah,
and the time frame is really short. Like you and I know how long it takes to make a film.
true.
You're an artist, you draw, so you know how long it takes to draw and create a,
Not as
even though
good
if
as
you have.
you. I'm way slower than you too, but I feel you. Yeah.
I'm bloody slow as well. So that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. So because I don't practice, I'm slow.
All right.
So it takes a long time to produce a comic book or even a comic strip. So it takes a lot of effort. But music is, yes, it takes a lot of effort. But if you're a master of that, then you can really um, the whole medium is like very short form. It's like short
True.
films.
Yeah.
Um, So, and you can do it at a higher frequency than producing films.
I agree.
If you're a YouTuber, you can crank out YouTube videos fairly faster and more frequently if you're in the game.
True.
But if you're a filmmaker, you'll
Oh, it
make a
takes
feature
ages.
film. Exactly. So same thing goes to comics, I would say. Like it
Hmm.
takes like at least a long time to produce one comic book.
Okay.
That's what I see. So I think
Hmm.
it kind of like traps you in your own bubble.
All right.
I don't know. This is from my experience from doing what I'm doing and what I'm experiencing at
All right.
least.
You're
To be
running a little animation production house or studio. I mean, if I'm allowed to talk about it.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's more corporate stuff.
Okay.
Kind of like a business that keeps my buddies in Sri Lanka, making an additional income and keep
That's
things
like a
rolling.
great thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like we have a couple of clients and we're doing like short animated corporate trailers, corporate videos and kind of stuff like that.
All right.
So yeah, it does decent business and it feeds a couple of families in Sri Lanka, which is amazing.
Okay.
uh, yeah, more than a couple. Yeah, at least 3 or 4. Yeah, something like that.
All right.
So yeah,
Excellent.
it's not. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's artistic in the sense that what we do, but it's more business and more corporate stuff. Yeah,
It serves the purpose, right?
it
So,
serves the purpose. Yeah, it's definitely adds some money to your pocket, and which helps you to free up your mind from all the other troubles that, because that's one of the things, right? Like you always struggle to make a living out of these things
true.
and do what you love to do, and those two doesn't go together always.
No, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why I work full time as well. I mean, I work for a tech company, and if i if I had a choice, I would easily ditch that and jump ships. But yeah, so you see that dilemma everywhere.
True. I agree.
Yeah.
So, what do you do besides film? This is if you want to and can talk about it. If you don't want to, we
Yeah.
can skip. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's boring stuff.
But just a little bit,
Yeah,
just to get an idea about
for
the
sure.
other
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
Yeah, I work for a tech startup in based in Victoria, and I basically lead the company here. So
Nice.
that's pretty much it. Yeah, uh, yeah,
All right. That was
yeah.
quick.
It's boring
It's
stuff,
fine.
man.
It's fine. All right. No problem.
Yeah,
It was way faster than I
yeah,
expected it to be. Yeah, I was like expecting like at least 2 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. It's fine though. I'm not complaining.
yeah. No, no.
I was trying to ask you about like how you got to where you are today.
Oh,
Like,
right.
you finished a feature film,
Yeah,
you have completed the second one, and
almost.
yeah, you have good relations with um pretty recognized film festivals. You met some interesting people, and for some people over here, or even in, a different country, maybe, it's a dream still. And some people die never achieving this dream. So it may not be a big deal to you, but it is a big deal for a lot of people out there. So I'm sure they'll be interested to hear what you have to say, how you got here and how it all happened, because it didn't just happen, right? You worked your ass off. So yeah,
Yeah, I think I know the gravity of it. I think, and that's the thing. And I know it's nothing. One thing that it's nothing to brag about, but definitely I know that a lot of people dream about it, and I've definitely dreamed about it before that, before those things happened. And sometimes, like there were certain instances where I had to pinch myself. Oh, I'm actually sitting down and having a conversation with this person right now.
yeah.
That
Like
kind of
Steven
stuff.
Soderbergh. You met Steven Soderbergh last year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Soderbergh and a bunch of other people.
Okay.
Okay. Last year, yes, it's been a year. Yeah, Steven Soderbergh and yeah, bunch of, yeah. I mean, talking to a bunch of Oscar winners and Palme d'Or winners, that was pretty cool. and realizing that their process is not much different from ours. That was,
Okay.
I think, that was the biggest inspiration I got from them.
I didn't quite get you though. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So last year when I met Steven Soderbergh and his team who did High Flying Bird, me and Akash,
yeah,
we were at Park City, Utah, attending Slam Dance and Sundance Film Festival. We both did a little project with them, so that's how we got the opportunity. And so Steven Soderbergh released High Flying Bird for Netflix, and the premiere was at Slam Dance, and then we were there. Um, he did that entire movie from his mobile phone
iPhone.
and iPhone, yeah, whatever
Yeah,
the version that
not
was.
this version,
Not
the
that one,
way
no.
older, right? Yeah,
Way
yeah.
older one, yeah, older one. Because it premiered in 2019, so I would say 2018 or 2017 model
Pretty
at
amazing,
least.
huh? I mean,
Yeah, dude.
him to
I mean,
he can shoot with any damn thing, and
exactly. I mean,
he chose to yeah.
yeah, here you have a guy who have won Palm d'Or, who have won Oscars, who have done $100 million budget movies like Ocean's 12 and all that kind of stuff, and here he is going on shooting a movie uh, with a mobile phone, just him and the audio guy, no crew, that's it, only two
All right.
people with the actors, that's it. And
Okay.
that was pretty impressive because because I know people like like indie filmmakers and beginners, or like in their mid careers, when they transition from short
Yeah.
films to features and stuff like that. They're like, oh no, I can't go back to DSLRs, I can't go back to doing short films, I need to shoot 4K and all that kind of Ks and technology stuff and the fucking labels. I'm like, what
True.
the hell are you talking, man? Like, tell a good story, use whatever the hell thing you have in your hand and just use it to tell the story. And here you have an Oscar winner, a guy who can raise millions of dollars to make a film, making a movie with his mobile phone.
Yeah.
And that was bloody amazing. And I was so inspired. And I mean, initially someone could think, oh, this is a marketing gimmick, but not really. When you really speak to him, you realize that he still has that little kid in him who wants
So
to
you
experiment.
you sensed his passion about using this form of technology.
Yeah.
He was
But I
passionate
mean,
about using an iPhone
yeah,
to
it's
shoot. Oh, okay.
here's the thing, he wasn't passionate about using an iPhone or any other phone for that matter.
Uh huh.
He was passionate about uh, the fact that you could do it with a bloody phone.
Okay. I get.
you know
Okay.
that's what it is. He can use something simple and small and most available device like an iPhone to shoot an entire film. And the possibilities that it opens up, you can get into like really tight corners, you can do like a lot
True.
of crazy shots without any booms and dollies and tracks and whatnot. All you need is like $150 like a jib bomb, or sorry, a gimbal,
A gimbal.
which you
Yeah.
can buy from, yeah, and or like a made up and then you can do an entire
Yeah.
film with
And
like
and
really
the
cool
and the,
shots.
and the stabilizing technology
Yeah,
in iPhones aren't that bad.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, the
Yeah, so he was,
inbuilt stabilization.
yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he used Filmic Pro or something like that as an app
I
to
use
do
that.
all
I
the other
love that
stuff.
app. It's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so he's excited about how easy it is right now to make movies. That's where his passion is, because yeah, you don't have to worry about all the other financing and all the other kind of like you know
True.
BS around making of a film. He can easily do a film. And when I was talking to Terrell, the guy who wrote it, the
Okay.
Oscar winner, the guy who wrote Moonlight, he was talking about making micro budget films.
Okay.
And the whole micro budget filmmaking has a I get really pissed off about this, because in Canada micro budget films are, you have to have like $250,000.
All right.
I can make like 200 films for that money.
I feel you.
And you
Yeah.
know so because of that, like whenever someone brings up the whole micro budget topic, I just tune out,
Okay.
especially someone like that. And But I was there and I asked this question, like, okay, what is your micro budget? Tell me. Oh, we're trying to make films under 15 grand, 10 grand.
All right.
And yeah, I know in Sri Lankan terms it's a big amount, but in a US or Canadian term it's not a big amount.
It's a little. I understand. Yeah.
It's tiny. It's just like if you were to give a comparison, I mean, it would be like spending 100,000 rupees in or 200,000 rupees in Sri Lanka to make a
Mm,
film uh, that's kind of like the equivalent. It's not the dollar value, but what it looks like. So, and I was super excited. I'm like, do you still do that? And they were like, yeah, we still do that. And um, and that was super cool. Friends, and
yeah.
making films with available resources for food money, and yeah, so that's pretty amazing. And that's where the passion is, telling stories
True.
and that creative itch. um, Not about the money, not about the fame, not about anything else that surrounds it. So
You
that
you
kind of,
you have a
yeah.
similar experience with both your movies, right? Both your
Mhm,
films.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah. Another cool story that he told. I think this is even available on the Slam Dance YouTube channel with the entire interview with Terrell. Um, he said that he had to go through so much of hardship to make Moonlight, and then he had to wait a long time. Then I asked the question, how long it took since the day you wrote the script till the day it got, you know, the Oscars and everything. And I can't remember exactly, but I think it's somewhere between 10 to 15 years.
Holy shit. Okay. And I thought I sucked. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And between that time, at least twice or thrice, they almost, I mean, they had budgets, they had producers, they almost went to production. And the day of the production, or right before that, everything fell through.
All right. Okay.
They had to, abandon. And then, and the movie that we see, it was like the second or third try
Attempt.
of
Okay.
that.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, after many years, first time you have a producer, and oh, we can't set this in Miami, let's do it in Chicago, it's half the price. And
Okay.
Terrell is like, no, that's not gonna happen. Done, gone. Something happens, and and that's pretty cool, because it shows how hard it is to make a film,
Yeah.
how tough it is, and how committed you have to be in order to make your dreams come true. It doesn't happen overnight.
True.
So, because I know, because you and I were talking about the failures sometime back,
Yeah.
and
I was just about to yeah, say
bring up
something.
that
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, something that's been slowing me down
Yeah.
is, have this issue with perfection.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that what I do is like out of this world, but what I'm trying to
But
say is like in your mind's eye, you have a finish, right?
mm,
That you
mm,
how you want your movie to look,
mhm,
and yeah, that's what has slowed me down, you know.
mm,
And I've been holding back a lot of projects because I didn't have the right setup or the right crew. But now I've come to a stage where I don't really give a shit about it anymore because I've realized that if you have an interesting story to tell and if you have clear images and good sound, um, it seems like it looks like people will just follow it. They don't give a shit. That's what it looks like.
mhm.
But I wasn't thinking that way until very recently.
Yeah, I think that's the curse of the creative person.
Yeah.
And I definitely suffer from the same thing, but I have kind of trained myself not to go for that perfection. And I try to do the sort of like MEV, minimum viable. Okay, is it good? Is there anything more that we can do effectively that would change everything? And how hard is it? I kind of like think of it from a logical point of view, and then
True.
push through. But it's not easy. It's not easy at all. It's damn hard, and that's what has been slowing me down as well a little bit. Um, I mean, of course, I had to uproot myself from Sri Lanka and plant myself in Canada and start all over again. So that was another story.
But
But
well, that's where where you really started your filmmaking career, if you think
in
about it,
Colombo,
right?
yeah,
No, I mean in Canada. I mean, you made your first two short films, not the first, but not the Valentine's Crush, but the
then I made
others.
Angam.
Clockwork.
Yeah,
Oh no, you made Angam in Sri Lanka, but
yeah,
then you migrated, right?
hmm
And then you
yeah,
bought your DSLR and you shot
yes,
Clockwork.
yeah,
What?
yeah. Time
Yeah,
takes, yeah, when
Time
time takes,
Ticks,
and then
and then
they were all experiments. Yeah,
the horror
yeah, paranoia,
with the
and
same actress
yeah,
who,
yes,
yeah.
yes, and then wrote the screenplay for Imperfection and went ahead and did it in 5 days, I believe.
All right.
Can't even remember. Yeah, shot the entire feature film in 4 or 5 days and finished it. So, so yeah, I kind of I'm a big fan of that, you know, that kind of filmmaking, that New York or European style of filmmaking.
Yeah,
The John Cassavetes, like back in the day, pick up a camera, grab your friends, and tell a story.
true.
That's the kind of like authenticity that I look for. Um, it doesn't always work.
Mm.
It doesn't always work, and you can see it from my films that it doesn't work all the
Why would you
time.
say that? Yeah,
Dude, like, I'm a perfectionist just like you, so I see all the issues in my movies, but other people might not see.
yeah,
So, and that's the problem. But I guess that's how it is.
true.
um, even with Dishti, like I showed it to a couple of people to get feedback,
Okay.
a rough version without audio, without VFX or color or anything, just a rough assembly, and just to get feedback and to find out where I can tweak things. And everybody's, oh man, this is a good film. I'm like, dude, don't say a good film. Just tell me where things are wrong. And no, man, like I love the colors and blah blah.
This is Disty.
This is
Disty.
Dishti, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I haven't seen it. I'm looking forward to seeing
yeah, I
it
will show it to
before.
you. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Okay.
yeah. I mean, I just showed it to several people, just like a
Okay.
test
All
screening
right.
to find out what are the issues so I can tweak things. People who haven't worked with the film, people who don't know about the film, I wanted to get like fresh perspective, and I
Okay.
usually do that. Um, and people are saying all sorts of good things about it. I'm like, okay, I didn't expect that. you know,
All right.
some people actually got like jumpy when they saw like horror stuff. I mean, it's not that scary at all, but yeah, for some reason they followed the story, and I thought that the story was horrible and it was not working. You're too critical on yourself. That's the
True.
problem.
Mm.
And it's you have to push through that boundary, I guess, and that's what I learned over time
All right.
too. So now I'm trying to power through
Okay.
and get it done.
So
Yeah,
when can the rest of the world expect to see this?
I hope within this year,
All right.
towards the end of this year, I think we would
Excellent.
be able to. Yeah,
All right.
I'm pretty sure the momentum that we have right now is pretty good, and we are almost there. So
All right.
unless we hit any technical problems or whatever, I don't see us slowing down in terms of
Great.
finishing.
Okay.
So within several months, we should be done
Good.
and
Okay.
ready. And yeah, yeah, I can show you some rushes later on in the discussion. So.
All right. Excellent. I was gonna ask you a little bit about your involvement with film festivals. I did like
Mhm.
touch on it, but I don't think we
No, we didn't dive
covered
into it. Yeah.
enough. Yeah. So yeah.
Film festivals. So how it started was when I was in Colombo making my first couple of films there. I started sending out my films to festivals and reaching out, and I had this habit of spamming people.
Okay.
And if I send submit a film to a festival, I would find the founder of the festival, director of the festival, programmers. I would find everybody online, and I would DM them.
Okay.
And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And
All right.
but along the way, I managed to develop some good relationships like that with these festival
All right.
guys,
Okay.
and that's pretty much what happened over years of like persistence and like try to strike up conversations online. Pretty much being a creep, and and then when you put your stuff online and share your work, they start noticing. And then of course I have a since I work in the corporate sector, I have other sets of skills that people can use, in terms of marketing, organizing, and running things.
True.
So, when you are friends with these people, they started, hey, these things. Can you help us with this stuff? I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, and then I
All right.
jump in, and you
Yeah.
know, so it's been amazing, and I've been able to make some really good friends, and in
Okay.
several festivals. So that's pretty much how it evolved. Yeah.
And you mentioned spending hours watching movies submissions.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Do you still do
Yeah.
that?
I,
All right.
I sometimes do. Yeah. I actually did one for a short film festival in the city here a couple of months back. Yeah.
What
It's
what what
interesting.
that's
Yes,
something I haven't experienced. So what is it like? Painful?
it can be painful.
All
I
right.
think the painful thing for me is not sitting through the films, even if they are bad. I mean, yeah, okay, you stumble upon a bad film, it's not gonna make it. That's fine. Pass through that and you get your picks. What makes me super damn irritated and I get into fights and all that kind of stuff is when you actually make selections.
All right.
You know, when you have discussions with the selection committee or whatever the board
So
and
you
blah blah
you
blah.
are you are in the selection committee, right? Oh,
In some of them, yeah, on
in
and
some
off.
of them. All right. Okay.
On and off, I get into those things. It's not like a permanent thing, but and that's one of the reasons why I'm explaining why I'm not in them permanently, because I get into fights. um, uh, the rules and the not the rules, the criteria that people select films based on. Because for me, if the film, if a film stands on its own merit, if the story is great, it was done good, or it creates the impact that it needs to create, regardless of the production value or whatever that is, then it deserves a place.
Yeah.
And if there's too much competition, then the best goes into the lineup. That's fine. um, but then when it comes to selection, the politics comes along.
Okay.
That's where I get really heated up. you know uh, yeah, I mean, sometimes you could have selectors who are very traditional minded, or we are only picking films that have a glossy production value.
Okay.
And then me being a guerrilla filmmaker, I'm gonna go to freaking war with them. Of course, like that's not the filmmaking. This is the other. I go into like the whole that kind of a beast there. That's one aspect. At least that's fine, because that's kind of like useful fight, because it's about art itself,
Okay.
someone's perception of art. But when it comes to politics, especially, I mean, I think of myself as a progressive, but at the same time, when it comes to these kind of things, they try to serve quotas for films. Oh, this film talks about a certain political ideology that we like. This one talks
Okay.
about something that we don't like. Or this is made by immigrant. This is made by a woman. This is made by a LGBTQ person. I don't fucking care who made the film.
Yeah.
If the film is good, if the story is good, if it's impactful, then it deserves a chance. You know, when the selectors become selective from about films from non-related stuff, I get pissed off.
Oh, I feel you. All right.
And yeah, a lot of film festivals uh, are like this. I think there are few festivals who try to be unbiased about those kind of things, but some, even I've heard like some big festivals are like that. Uh, and I guess for big festivals, they do have a pressure to please the mass media and stuff like that, I understand that.
Yeah.
But for smaller indie city level festivals, those are the ones who can actually you know put out something good and create conversations instead of going around clapter. So this is where I I get pissed off and I get into fights with other selection members and get kicked out of from the team next year.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. uh, there was this one short film once at a festival. um, I like the film. It didn't have anything deep or whatever. I like the film for its filmmaking. It was about a guy who was, you know, kind of like a hero's journey at a gym. Very
Okay.
tiny short film, done brilliantly, edited beautifully, like really impactful, and you feel it. You kind of like go along with it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but the story itself is not that deep. But for a 2 minute short film for a festival, that's a darn good film for people to see. Um,
Okay.
in a filmmaking perspective. And one of the comments that came from the selection committee was, "Here is another film by a white dude doing white dude things."
Okay.
I was like, "What the fuck does that mean? And
Does
what
that
does
even
that
matter if the movie is
exactly?"
interesting, if it's
So
entertaining?
exactly. So here's a brown guy defending a white guy, and but I'm not defending white guy or whatever. I don't. I hate that stuff. And
Well, I
I'm
reckon that's
defending the
because you're
fucking
not
arts.
you're not
I'm
racist.
not. I'm not a racist, but that person
Yeah.
was a racist.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And that person was white too, and who made the comment. But I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Why are you even worried about those things?
Yeah.
You know
What does that have to do with the fucking movie, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Unless if it's a festival geared towards immigrants or a certain racial background, it was defined for that, then it makes sense because that's a
Mm.
criteria already given, and people who
Yeah.
submitted it, they submit based on that criteria. That's fine.
Mm.
um, if it's an immigrants festival, Asian festival, or LGBTQ festival, then that's the criteria, chosen criteria at the very beginning. If you don't put that criteria up front for a festival and you charge money from everybody who submits, then you're scamming people basically.
True.
Yeah. So yeah.
So this is the bullshit that takes place behind
hmm
closed doors.
hmm hmm Oh yeah. And I mean, I'm wearing Slam Dance Film Festival T-shirt right now.
Yeah.
Um, simply because I really respect this festival.
All right.
Uh, they do a darn good job at selecting.
Okay.
They don't. I know this by experience. I haven't selected, but I've been there. I know the founders and the guys who are running it, and I know their process. And they look for that filmmaking merit, how impactful it is, how crazy it is, and the filmmaking journey, the story behind it. That's what they look for, and they pick like films that are bonkers.
All
Dude,
right.
like their screenings are crazy. The only
Okay.
thing that you don't have is actual fist fights, because you get such polarizing ideas being shown on the screen, and people, it gets really heated there.
All
And
right.
that's what art needs to be doing.
True.
you,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's one festival that I really respect, and there's a bunch of others as well. But it's really hard. It's really hard.
I feel you.
Yeah. So a lot of people, especially when it comes to indie filmmaking, they waste their money on festivals. That's the bottom line.
All right. But that's the business, right?
That's a business.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a business, and it's not essential. But if you get into festivals, then you kind of get that notoriety. I don't really care about for it, but
It's
it's one
good.
of those
Yeah.
things. It's good for you. But it doesn't mean, it's just because you don't get into it, it doesn't mean that you're a bad filmmaker or your film
True.
is not good or you should stop.
Yeah.
Because
Something that, like me, not as a filmmaker, but as a consumer, when I go movie hunting, and
mhm,
when I don't want to watch like a Hollywood blockbuster, right?
yeah,
When I want to
yeah,
look, when I want to see something fresh,
mhm,
when I want to see a face that I don't know about, who she slept with or who he slept with,
yeah,
and if he's gay or if she's
yeah,
gay, when sometimes I want to see movies with actors where I don't know
Mm-hmm.
who they are. Like, like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can connect better because I'm sick of all the gossip that I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
I understand that that is a form of business,
Yeah.
but
And it should be
I
there,
have
which
nothing
is fine.
against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But
I
then as
enjoy it too.
humans, we get
Yeah.
tired of it, right?
Exactly.
So something that works for me is like, since we come across a lot of crap, right? Bad movies.
Mm-hmm.
When you see, one of my friends coined this excellent term. I don't know if you know about this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when you have an official selection, those
Mm-hmm.
leaves,
Yeah.
right? In singular, they call it color marketing.
You, do you know the term for that's a good one. I haven't heard about that before. Do you know the term for the art films, the art films that are made for film festivals in Sri Lanka?
Well, maybe I don't think I
Yeah,
do. Just go ahead
because
anyway.
there are good art films that goes to film festivals, which deserves it, and then
Good.
there are films that are made considering the festival and like
Yep.
frame to frame, you know, uh, like a factory product. They call it Tanigahai Kakkusiai.
What does that even mean? I mean, I got it. It sounds funny, but what's the deal? Tani kahai
Basically,
kakusiai. All right.
yeah. So basically, they have a shot somewhere in the film. Most likely, it might made the poster or something like that, or the trailer, where you have like a single tree in a very deserted area with like an outhouse, so that it's artistic and it's like it shows like how sad people are, how rural it is. Oh, we are so sad. So people in Colombo, like the film scene, who are critics and all the other indie filmmakers, they have coined the term "Tanigahai Kakkusiai" film.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna use that for the thumbnail, at least for a short while. Like Tani
Yeah.
kahai kakusiai, like
Yeah,
on the
I think
side.
you should use that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's interesting, because I mean I don't blame it either, because these are guys who are trying to make films and get recognized. So
True.
when they find a trend, they hit it, which is completely fine. And just like how you're going to use that term to attract audience, they're doing their own thing to attract whatever their design, which is completely fine. When it becomes too much, then that's the problem, because then it becomes the only thing that exists. uh, why I'm bringing that back is it's because of the festivals, those
Yeah.
fucking festivals, because they have their own agendas
All right.
which they're pushing. So if you're not playing according to their agenda, you're not going to get it in,
Okay.
no matter how good you are. So why I'm saying this over and over again is like, if if there are filmmakers who are watching this, like, don't get discouraged just because you don't get into a festival. That's not the point
Okay.
of making films,
Yeah,
because these
I
things
agree.
are highly political. They're businesses, they have their own agendas, because when they play to their own agendas, they get funding from other places. There's a huge network around these things,
True.
and that's why these things exist, and it's for their own survival as well. It's a
Well,
vicious
like by
cycle.
all means, go for it if you have the
Yeah,
money
go for
to.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because by chance, if you get in, that's great. And I submit to festivals too, but I don't hold my breath on it. But only thing that I'm saying is, like, do it, but don't hold your breath on it, or like
Yeah. I
don't
mean,
be discouraged, or
don't borrow money from the mafia and like
no, fuck no.
and then go for it.
Yeah, and some people get really depressed when they don't get into festivals and such, because they
True.
think it's a
It's just the psychology that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's bad. Submit to festivals if you have money and if you have a means of getting in. Do it, absolutely, because that'll give you an audience, and that'll give you some sort of success from somewhere. That'll get you some introductions. Do
But
it.
then
But
now things are changing, right? With social
now things
media
are
and
exactly,
self distribution platforms, and
yeah.
I mean, you could utilize that money to boost your
Promote your
own
films
trailer,
on your
promote your. Yes.
exactly. Yeah, now the media has been democratized. That's what it is. I
I
remember
hope
I
I hope
I
that
think it
it'll
is.
be around for a while at least before
I think it will be. I think it will be. I don't see that it's going back. I remember getting into a debate with a festival uh, people in US once. Like, they were like, oh, film festival well, film festivals are still valid. We are the ones who are making the taste and blah blah blah. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not valid anymore because there's YouTube and
True.
other means of getting your stuff out to audience. So you're good, but you're not essential. That yeah. Earlier, sure, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe.
I know
Yeah,
some
but not.
filmmakers like pretty successful,
Mhm.
independent. You know of these, you've heard of these names.
Yeah.
They don't even use YouTube. Distribute their film on their own website, and it
Yeah,
seems to work for them.
absolutely.
Hmm.
It's about finding your audience and creating a place where people can watch your stuff. That's festival is that, because the festival would have a curated audience, like a taste makers or whatever that you may call it. And then if you can screen your film in that, you'll have an audience.
True.
That's a way of creating an audience. That's about it, nothing else.
Hmm.
So so yeah, now you have enough technology and it's so cheap. I mean, for Sri Lanka it might not be the cheapest, but for most people it's still slightly expensive, but I
What
think
what
it's
what do you mean by that? Like not the cheapest? Like
I mean, I'm talking about, like, hosting a website,
all
promoting
right,
stuff
okay,
on
all
those
right,
kind of stuff. But other than that, everything's free. Like, to put on YouTube is free. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, internet is expensive still in Sri Lanka, at least.
Over here, it's getting better. I reckon it's
Is
improving,
it?
but I don't think that it's comparable to what you get over there, like what you pay for.
Yeah, yeah. The dollar value, that ratio doesn't go together, especially when you consider the earnings of people.
So, like, what kind of connection do you use, and how much do you pay for it?
Yeah, I pay about $100 per month,
Hmm.
and I have 500 gigabytes
All
per
right.
month,
Okay.
and I think it's 23 Mbps or something like that, the speed.
All right. Okay.
So it's pretty decent. Um, and I watch Netflix pretty much every day and do uploads and downloads through for my stuff. And so I use like quite a lot of data.
Okay.
And for the price I'm paying, that's pretty good. It's not the
Okay.
cheapest, I would say, but it's pretty
All
good
right. Yeah. So a hundred
because I'm
dollars. What's the exchange rate? Um.
roughly 15,000 rupees,
All right. 15,000
close to that,
rupees. So that's like almost the same, man. Like,
almost the same.
yeah,
Yes,
right now, yeah.
but an
But the
average person's
speed.
salary an average person's salary is
Yeah,
not the same.
when you look at it that way,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah,
yeah. I need to think of it. Yeah.
yeah. That's the problem. Like, here, an average person's, like, a minimum wage, whatever average person's salary would be, around 2,000, $2,500 per month,
Okay.
average.
Mhm.
Like, the lower level, and with that, $100 is
It's
manageable.
all right. Okay.
It's all right. You pay like $1,000 for
Mm.
your rent, or a little bit more, and food, couple of $100 or $300 or whatever that is. And then you kind of like can balance it
Mm.
as a minimum wage earner or whatever. But in Sri Lanka, average salary is like around $500 in Colombo, I
True.
would say. I might be wrong, but I wouldn't
Man,
be
people
surprised.
skip meals, man, like to
Yeah,
survive.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's how bad it is.
15,000 rupees for
Is a
that
lot.
person
Yeah.
is a lot.
True.
That's the problem.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
So yeah, so in Sri Lanka, even though things are available, I think accessibility wise, there's still like a little bit of a
True,
friction
true,
there.
true. For the
Not for
grassroots.
everybody, but yeah, for the grassroots for sure. Uh, but there's a lot of talent, man. There's a lot of
I
talent in
reckon.
Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. Something is still so wrong.
yeah. I think it's. I don't know whether because that they have to please the existing audience and do crappy stuff
Well,
to
that
make a.
definitely yes.
That's
Like, I mean, if you
yeah,
look at the television industry, like
yeah.
when you look at TV shows, which,
Mm,
people here call teledramas,
yeah.
I don't see a difference between what I saw like in the mid 80s.
No, the mid 80s was good, man.
The performances were good.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything was pretty good, actually.
Everything was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
not every other drama, but like
no,
they were
some of the like, yeah, yeah, the key dramas, right?
key. Yeah, exactly. I mean, oh, dude, like the stuff that came out in the 80s are
I can't
unbelievable.
remember the titles, but like
Yeah.
I did watch a few like about 8 months ago,
Hmm.
and I was amazed. I had
What did you
seen some
watch?
of the episodes like when I was a kid because my mom used
Yeah,
to watch
yeah, yeah.
these teledramas. So I used
Hmm.
to sit with her and go through some of the episodes,
Hmm.
and like I was amazed. The
Hmm.
performance, acting
Hmm.
was amazing.
Yeah,
The fucking makeup, it looks real.
not like a
And
pulp
no,
on your
they
face.
don't look like fucking corpses. And um, even the sets, but I'm sure that they didn't build all the sets. They used
No.
actual locations. And I'm specifically talking about stories that are based in villages. Like,
Hmm.
these are the best.
Yeah, most of them
Um,
were like that, I would say. Yeah.
yeah.
So what did you rewatch or
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm trying to
revisit?
recall. I was buying time, like trying to remember
Okay.
what I watched.
Um, I can
Um,
share like couple of few
all right,
titles that I
if
really
you
liked.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, way back in the day, there was a television like a teledrama called Giraya.
Oh yeah, I
Unfucking
that shit was
believable.
good. I watched the whole
Yeah,
damn thing when I was a kid. I haven't seen it when I was
yeah.
like when
I want to
like
watch it again. I want to find a good
I
copy and watch it
looked for
again.
it on YouTube. I don't think I found it. No, but
Ah,
I'm
Lucy Hami.
definitely
Oh
looking
man,
forward to
that
it.
was good stuff.
Giraya
Gire
Weather Harmony.
Weather
That was
Harmony,
good shit.
yes.
Yeah.
Weather Harmony, and then I mean the most famous one is definitely Dandobas Namane. That was
Yes.
90s. That was 90s, but
Mm.
that was pretty solid.
That was the peak era, right? I
That was
reckon.
the peak. Yeah. After
Mm.
that, everything started going downhill. I would say
Yeah.
there were a couple of spikes, but in general, it started going
Like
downhill.
even by the same producer director,
Mm.
like I mean
Yeah, Jayanta,
that Giant
Jayanta Chandrasiri. Yeah,
Giant Chandrasiri. I mean, his
mm.
work is good, but
Yeah.
Dhanubas Namane was special. And then he did
Oh yeah,
something called Akala Sandhya. It
Akala
was about
Sandhya.
time travel. It
Hmm.
tried to be like Dhanubas Namane and
Yeah, didn't
didn't
quite
quite.
land.
But I respect all the work he put
Yeah,
into it.
absolutely. I enjoyed that teledrama, but it wasn't anywhere close to Dandabas Namani for sure.
And he did another one. It was one of the first of its kind to be produced in Sri Lanka, where it was a sci-fi. It had
Oh right, yes,
I couldn't watch it, but I remember
I
Ravinder
remember one.
Randanir. I remember
Yes,
CGI spaceships
yes,
and blue screen
yes. I
shots,
can't remember the
and
name.
it was keyed so badly, but like it
Mhm.
was still pretty
Yeah,
cool that he
yeah.
tried it at the time.
That's
Um,
fine. I mean, yeah, but they tried hard for sure, and they did some good work. In Giraya, did you watch Kumbio?
yes, not the whole thing. I watched
But you've seen
22
stuff.
episodes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of the guys who plays Maldenir, um, he's a good
yeah,
actor.
he's the son,
He
right? He's the son in Girer.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
He's the son,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Classy actor. Yeah,
Classy, and yeah,
yeah.
he's from the theater. Yeah, so yeah, there was some good stuff back in the day.
Because Kalina worked with us on Train to Candy, right? He was one of the
Oh really? Oh
yeah,
nice.
Kalina,
Oh
Dasun, and
yeah, yeah, the whole gang.
Geeta. They're like they're quite established
Hmm. I mean
actors
those guys
now.
are uber talented, man.
True. I'm not
And I
like to be honest. Like I respect and I really admire their talent, the skill, and I worked with them.
mm,
And when we were working together, these guys were like hungry for work, right?
hmm.
Like I mean, now they're known
Now they're known.
public
Yeah,
figures, yeah.
yeah,
So I remember seeing the passion in them, and they
yeah.
were
Hmm.
so talented.
Yeah.
But 10 years later, the story is so sad when it comes
Mm.
to the industry here. We
Yeah.
have talented guys and girls, people.
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
say?
I don't know. Is it, yeah, I mean, we can go on and talk about, what the producers are doing, what the TV
We can
stations
bitch
are doing.
about things, but
We
yeah.
can bitch about it, but what are the what are the rest of, as I mean, at the beginning we talked about how easy it is to make films, how it is to make stuff and put out there. Why aren't people pushing themselves is the, I think,
True.
the next question. What are the reasons for that? I mean, as you
Mm,
said, probably they are trying to make a living, and jumping from this telly to the other telly and everything that
true.
they can grab to make a money, so they don't have time to
Yeah.
invest in, I don't know, there could be like hundreds of reasons, but that's
Yeah.
definitely a sad situation because it's it's talent being wasted,
True.
and
I
that's the
see a
sad part.
new generation doing some. Well, yeah, some of them are doing some amazing things.
Hmm.
Considering local standards.
Hmm.
I remember how difficult it was to shoot a short film back in the day. I had to wait until my dad, sent me a mini DV camcorder
Mm.
to start shooting things, and then once you get hold of it, you realize that it's a 1 CCD camera, and they have a 3 CCD. Are you feeling me?
Yeah, I have similar experiences. um, my very first short film, um, I knew nothing about. I'm literally saying nothing about cameras or anything related to technology. I mean, I was tech savvy. I mean, I had a IT background and everything, but in terms of cameras, I didn't have any
True.
knowledge because I've never used them. I didn't have the luxury of having one. So when I was getting ready to shoot the first short film, I went and rented. Yeah, it was a DV camera. I can't remember
Okay.
what it was. It was something Sony, some DV camera. Um, and I didn't have a this will sound so fucking ridiculous, and you might think, how the hell this guy is making movies. I didn't have a camera guy lined up for the film, and
All
I
right.
rented and rented the camera thinking the camera guy came with it,
Oh, okay.
and it
That's how
didn't.
it rolls now. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's how we roll right now. But
Yeah.
and it didn't have, and then it had a sort of like a caretaker guy. I mean, he was savvy enough to operate the camera. He knew what he was doing.
They normally do.
They only do, yeah. Lucky for
And
me.
some of them are actually better than the cinematographer or
Correct,
the DOP. That's what I have
correct.
experienced.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
Okay.
And then I was dead in the water when I realized that. And then on the day of the shoot, and I was picking up the camera. But luckily, the guy who came as the technical guy who take care of the camera, he knew what he was doing. And all I had to do
Okay.
was, these are the frames that I want. This is how I'm gonna what I want. And that guy captured it like perfectly for what it was.
All right.
And that was the first short film. Darshana was the guy. Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean,
Is
I never
this
worked.
the short film that was featured on Fox's website?
Yeah, so
Then, since I am a martial artist and my interest towards Angam horror,
mm,
because of Danubas Namane, that's how I
mm,
came to
mm.
know about that. You know, I joined this group. Is this interesting?
Oh yeah,
Okay, all right, okay.
this is where we met.
Yes. And I joined this group, Angam Madhur or something. Pumal
Mm.
was,
Pimal was there.
running
Yeah.
running it. And this dude, Sudhu Kotia Oliver.
Oliver, Oliver Youngman,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oliver
I had an
Herman.
issue with
Sorry.
the guy. Yeah, yeah. I had an issue with the guy. I feel so bad about it now though. And I was like, who is this guy? Like I sounded like an asshole. He's not Sri Lankan and Angam. Like I'm not even like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I still did that, a bit of a keyboard
Hmm.
warrior thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Pumal
You're
is like,
young.
no, bro. Yeah, no, bro, he ain't like that. He's not like that.
Mm.
He's actually nice. Why don't you come over? And then then I also had an idea to do a documentary about the art. So I told him that, look, I'm based in New Zealand and I have contacts with TV New Zealand because I used to work for TV New Zealand at the time.
Mm,
And I might be able to, give this some exposure. So I'd like to come and observe one of your classes. I'll bring a camera along with me, but just to observe, and then, we will discuss whatever.
mm.
And then I got there, then I see a fucking crew. I was like, what the fuck?
I saw the disappointment in your eyes as you were
You did?
entering.
Seriously? You did?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, but was it evident? Like, was it obvious?
I think I connected the dots later on, but
All right, okay.
I saw it.
I wasn't angry or anything. I
No,
was
no,
like,
no, 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 no.
natural, right? Like,
Yeah, it's natural. Like, oh, it's a surprise.
yeah. And I didn't remember you. Like it took a while for me to connect the Valentine crush in you. But when it
Mm.
clicked, I was like, it's this motherfucker. I'm sorry for swearing,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah,
um, yeah. And then you were such a nice guy. So, I forgot how to be jealous.
yeah.
And then, um, I enjoyed that
Yeah,
experience. And then I
yeah.
told Pumal that, like, I don't think that I want to do anything right now because these guys are doing a documentary. I want to see how it comes out. And I've lost inspiration to do what I
Mm,
want to do. And they was like, no, bro, they're just doing it for, like, a different audience. And
mm,
your audience is different, so you can
mm,
still proceed. But, like, it never progressed
mm,
from that point onwards until very recently. But that too, I wasn't involved as a
mm,
producer or director. I
mm.
helped out. So that was 10 years later.
Yeah, yeah,
um so yeah,
yeah.
that's how we met.
That's how we met. Yeah, and I,
Yeah.
I wish you did something of your own around that, because you were carrying
I,
the
I was carrying
Canon
the 7D.
70. Yes, I remember that.
I was carrying the 7D. And, like, all the people around, like, except you guys,
Yeah,
they were like, whispering to each other, man, making shoot karanda puluang. They're like,
yeah,
can you record video with this? Like, how the fuck do you do that?
yeah,
Is he just clicking pictures or is he recording? Is the quality gonna be okay? And
yeah,
I could hear shit, like, that was like,
yeah,
that was not giving me, like, positive vibes. And
yeah.
I too was experimenting on, like, a total new technology. So,
I think your camera was better than mine,
oh
because I
yeah,
have a
you guys were
store
shooting on, like, on a
and
mini
mini
DV. And I was,
camcorder. Yeah,
yeah, but you guys were so confident and, like, laid back, relaxed, and just doing your thing. And that was beautiful to watch.
going back to the whole camera story and Angam and the whole mini camcorder that I had shooting. That was a borrowed one from a friend of
Okay.
mine called Marsh Dodanwala, who was working in the agency that I was working, and he's the only guy who had a camera. And then I was like, "Hey, Marsh, can I borrow your camera for the weekend?" And that's how I started doing the documentary. And I got Anuradha to shoot it because he's a professional DOP, and so he was like, "Okay, give me whatever the camera, and I'll pick some good frames," and which he did. Um, we didn't have big plans for that documentary. We just went
But,
day by day and collected footages, and we shot things, and it became what it was.
well, you're known as the Angam,
I
the
know.
Angam guy, right? Like, even
Yes,
when
I
I talk to
know.
some of my friends, right? Like, I mean, I know you like a brother, but, like,
Yeah,
like, they're like, the Angam guy. Like,
yeah. I didn't
yeah.
even do Angamol. I just did the documentary. Yes, but
Yeah, that's how some people still, know
yeah,
you. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Because I did that. I screened it, and then I left the country. That's what happened. So I didn't have anything else happening after that. So that kind of like stopped the timeline there. Um, and that was such a fun film to do and to screen. I remember at the Gertie we premiered it, and it was so another fun story from that screening. Uh, so we were putting chairs for the screening, and the guy who was kind of like the caretaker of the place of the theater, he was like he put seats like halfway in the hall, and I was like, no dude, like fill the entire place because there's going to be people. And he was like, no, this is a documentary film, no one comes to watch documentary films. I'm like, dude, at least keep the stuff ready, stacked somewhere so you can put. And then when the time comes, there was a freaking lineup.
All right. Because it was
It was,
Angam.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was like
Yeah.
500 people waiting on the lineup.
Fuck.
And
All right.
yeah,
Okay.
and then immediately we had to decide, okay, we need to screen it again. So we did back to back screenings at the same place, and everything was jam packed. So,
Wow.
so, so
That's a success story. Yeah.
that was a success story, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
we did it for free. We screened everything for free, and there were people who were coming lining up to see a documentary, shot on a freaking mini DV camera and all that kind of stuff. So that was fun. That was fun.
True.
Amila, Anuradha, Eranga, Lalindra, like we were all, yeah, it was
You
like a five
still
people group.
work with most of them, right? Except
Yeah, yeah,
Lalindra, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, Lali's doing his own thing with
and it's
Cyber
pretty
Illusions.
amazing stuff, right? Like,
Pretty
I love
amazing
his
stuff.
stuff. It's pretty
Yeah,
impressive. Like,
yeah.
coming from a Sri Lankan, it's state of
Oof,
the art.
he's a
Like, the
genius.
quality is amazing. I
Yeah,
never knew that he is that capable.
yeah. He's a
Yeah.
genius. He's someone who can teach himself almost anything and excel at it. So
All
I
right.
remember the days he was experimenting with video mapping. It
Uh
was
huh.
at the office, and he was like just projecting behind his seat, and he was like, oh, look at this is what's happening. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I still remember the
But
day that he was
now it's like a steady business for him, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they have gone international. They're doing a lot of events in the Asian region as well as
All right.
in the Middle Eastern region, and they're doing pretty
Okay.
well.
All right.
Every now and then we chat, but he still has the hunger to do a lot of art stuff, but he doesn't have time.
Okay.
But
I
he
understand.
did the music for Angam.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
he composed the music. Lali.
I I didn't remember that, but I do remember him composing for one of your short films, and I was so critical about it.
Mm.
Um, and I did want to remove my comment on YouTube, and you were like, "No, no, no, bro, leave it. It's
Yeah,
constructive criticism, yeah."
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know if like my relationship with the guy.
I don't think so.
No, yeah, he's still on my Instagram, and like we like each other's posts and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So I hope I didn't hurt anyone. But then again, we're artists, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
You gotta get past those things.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's so yeah, that's how we met and became friends
How? You and I.
through Angam. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. True, true.
yeah. You and
Angram
I.
is special.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was a yeah. I can't believe that it's been like 9, 10 years. Dang.
True.
Time flies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, you got any ideas or any plans to come down? And you did mention this, but like,
Mm-hmm.
are you still like having that idea to come down and like
Mm.
do
Yeah.
something local now, since you're like Canadian? You make Canadian movies.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah. I shoot the movies here, but everything's edited and all the post production happens in Sri Lanka, so it's not full Canadian. It's Sri Lankan Canadian.
Well, your
So,
first one is Canadian. I don't see anything Sri Lankan about it. Like, I mean, the
no. What I
cast
mean is
and
the crew, the
the
post crew is
crew.
always the
Yeah,
post
yeah.
crew is always Sri Lankan.
Mm,
Yeah. So I like to keep that going because it's
true.
one of the ways that I can keep connected and
Yeah,
to my team back home and do something together collaboratively.
I understand. Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, doing a film in Sri Lanka again. It's something that I'm planning on doing. Eranga and I, we are in fact writing a screenplay right now. We're at the very early stages, but hopefully once it's done, the plan is to come down to Sri Lanka and get the original team and you guys together to make
excellent.
something
I'm
happen.
looking forward to it. All right.
Yeah, and it'll be a blast if we can make it happen for
Well, we
sure.
can make it happen. I have the time now, so
Yeah,
let me know.
yeah. I mean, with the whole COVID situation, I don't know when things will get back to normal and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah,
let's see.
that's what I was gonna get back at. Like,
Mm,
where do you see the industry heading? Post COVID-19, or
yeah.
like, what do you think would happen? Like, some people, like, say that this is like a great window or an opportunity for independent filmmakers, because the studios are kind of fucked at the moment. So
Mm,
um don't get me wrong, I love big budget movies.
same here.
I that is why I'm
Mm.
like making
Yeah,
movies. It's
the
because
big budget movies are what made us filmmakers. Those are the things
true.
that inspired us to become filmmakers. But it was the
Yeah,
indie films that kept us there.
yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, so everything needs to be surviving and everything needs to be there in the world, I think. um yeah, I think you're correct. I think there's going to be more than before. I think I don't know. I think it was kind of going that route for a while, because of, like, 10 years ago there was the guerrilla film movement. Before that you had the dogma movement and all that kind of stuff. But the guerrilla filmmakers sort of like evolved into these sort of movement, and they
true.
started making movies and they became successful, and they were the
Yeah,
guys who could make bigger films with sh- smaller budgets and very efficiently. So they had more, they started getting more notoriety in the industry, and especially in places like Netflix and all. um,
yeah.
where they know how to stretch the dollar and get stuff done and have the impact. I mean, for example, I mean, look at Anurag Kashyap from India. The guy was the same story. Like, he was making films with, like, a couple of $1,000 and stolen cameras and stealing shots in the train and all that kind of stuff. That's how he made films. And all his earlier films were banned in India. None of those things were released. He was an alcoholic. He
Why would they ban the content
for
itself,
yeah, for
or his
content.
his?
Yeah,
Oh,
for
okay,
content. Yeah, yeah.
all right.
The India has like stupid rules of, like, in terms of nudity, smoking, and politicians in
Oh,
your
oh, yeah,
stories.
yeah, yeah. All
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
garbage. Yeah. Mm.
All the garbage. Yeah. So all his first initial films were banned in India, and they got pirated, and that's how he became a filmmaker. And now he's producing TV series and making films for Netflix and Blumhouse and all that kind of stuff. He's like a big
True.
deal. He's bigger than all the Bollywood guys, you know.
Yeah.
And because he knows and he has the capability of achieving that with like such a small budget and with a
Yeah.
tight crew and all that kind of stuff. So
And
I
the
think
shit looks good, man.
shit looks good and
Yeah.
impactful, and it has an audience, and all that kind of stuff. um, yeah, I was lucky to meet Anurag Kashyap as well, and I was lucky to learn from him as well.
All
Do
right.
a workshop with him and spend a weekend together and all that kind of stuff. That was pretty awesome. And yeah, that's what made him what he is. And
True.
he got the lucky breaks, and he got into the right place at the right time, and he made it happen. So I think it's gonna continue. I mean,
Hmm.
look at Blumhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, we are all in like genre filmmaking, and we love horror films and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think Blumhouse is a classic example. I mean, they have a all their films are relatively low budget films considering Hollywood.
I
They
love
make
what
yeah,
he achieved with is it Invisible Man?
mm, yeah,
Am I right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
I
love that
thought it
film.
looked sleek.
So good. That was the
Yeah.
last film I saw in theaters
All
before
right.
this COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Those guys are crazy because Jason Blum, I think his mandate is they're gonna make films under $2 million.
Hmm.
For a Hollywood studio, $2 million is nothing.
Oh. Yeah.
You know that,
Mm.
and
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah, it's absolutely nothing. And in most cases, he makes the films under a million, and
True.
sometimes, you know, and there has been certain films which were made for like 50,000, $70,000. Some of Blumhouse movies, and that's the beauty of it. And he was so clever that he struck a deal with Universal for distribution, so he already has an outlet to put his movies and
True.
make the dollar back. So, and he's making all these filmmakers, have a stage to experiment and do stuff. I think he only gives chances to people who have already done stuff like that. He
Okay.
picks not I don't think he gives opportunities for brand new filmmakers, but anyone
All
who
right.
has done something, some indie films, and proven their track record and has a good
Okay.
thing, they do that. So yeah, I think that's amazing because they're making low budget films and they're turning them into like $100 million franchises.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
they brought back Shyamalan. Come on.
Yeah. The maid, right?
Yeah, they made bunch of films. What was it? Split was the first one, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. Split. You're talking about the trilogy.
trilogy.
Yes,
Yeah,
the Unbreakable trilogy. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Unbreakable was old film, but they
Yeah.
connected the dots and they created a
Yeah.
whole new trilogy. But
But apparently, he was he always had an intention for like a trilogy arc,
oh,
right?
okay,
That's
I
what
didn't know.
he's saying. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Um. So that's what I heard.
okay, probably.
and yeah, I just watched the first episode. He did a TV show with Apple, like a horror TV show called The Maid,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Housemaid.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's on Apple. If you have an account, like
Okay,
check it out.
okay.
It's interesting. I've only seen one episode, but I need to finish it. But yeah, that looks like good work. Because
Yeah.
I wasn't so happy because I was a big fan of Shyamalan when Signs came out. Not
Mm-hmm.
Signs, sorry. What's the other one with the kid?
Yeah. Sixth Sense. Sixth
The
Sense.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah,
Yes,
Sixth Sense. Yeah.
the Sixth Sense. I thought that was like a
Oh, yeah. That
masterpiece.
was brilliant.
Then
Yeah.
Unbreakable was good.
Then Unbreakable. Yeah.
Then Signs was good and
Yeah.
fucked
The twist.
somewhere. Yes. Then came The Village. The
Village.
Village.
I love that one. Yeah.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
good.
That was
Guilty
good.
pleasure,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like that successful, right? I mean,
No, no, no.
not
Success
everyone
wise,
liked
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then he was quiet, I reckon, and then he did Lady in the Water. I was extremely disappointed with that movie at
Yeah.
the time,
At the
but
time, but
yes, I was
but the late.
expecting a Shyamalan twist. Yeah. So anyway,
Yes, yeah, yeah. But after Lady in the Water, then he did the stupid Avatar film, and then another
and
film, and
The Happening was not with Mark Wahlberg, where people,
right. I
um,
can't remember that.
like the where
I
people
think I
go
saw this.
crazy and they start killing themselves. He was inspired by like Alfred Hitchcock, The Happening, Mark Wahlberg.
The name rings a bell. Let me. Oh, right. Yes, I
Oof,
remember.
I didn't really
Yeah.
like it that much, but yeah.
No, I didn't like it either. Yeah. Hence, I don't remember.
But I thought The Lift was all right for like a small movie. He produced it, I reckon. He wrote it and
Yeah.
produced it. The
Yeah.
Lift, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, he was doing all these good films at the beginning, and then got sucked into the Hollywood system. And they started making these huge budget films, and
True.
basically almost ruined his career.
It
He from
technically did, right? He was
technically,
resurrected.
yeah, he got ruined, and he became a ridiculed story. And but his return came from Blumhouse. When he went back to the low budget, that that grungy films, he made a comeback like never before.
You reckon he was given freedom, like
Oh yeah,
100% freedom?
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I 100% think so. I think that's how Blumhouse works too, because they're taking a smaller risk. The money is not that big; they can
True.
afford it. Then they give the full freedom, or they discuss it beforehand, and I think.
What's your opinion about, like, now, like, producing for others? That's something I've tried out in the past 2 years, and as a director, I have always wanted to have 100% creative control, even though
Mm.
it's only
Yeah,
you know like a little dream.
yeah.
um, but then when you start producing for others, you want to give them 100%
Mm.
creative freedom because you understand
Mm.
it. But then
It doesn't really work
N-
out.
No, it's hard. Like,
It is.
it's quite difficult because you're like putting in a lot.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just want to know what your opinion is. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Hmm. I think this is why filmmaking is such a collaborative medium to work as an artist. Yes, yeah, you can call it a director's medium, but end of the day, it's a collaboration. So that
True.
give and take has to be there with the producers, the writers, the actors, and the crew members and everybody. So it's really hard to find that balance. Yeah, you're kind of like the person who makes the call. Okay, no, this is the fucking way that I'm gonna do it. But yeah, it's hard. I know because if you, especially if you're a writer director, then it's kind of like your own baby, and
Yeah, yeah,
then you don't like anybody coming and fucking it up. Um,
yeah.
but if you train yourself to listen to others, especially when it comes from a credible source, I mean, not I'm not saying credible in the sense, oh, he's a producer, he has done movies, but it could be even the the guy who's pulling the cables. Oh, hey, you could do it this way. Like, if you listen, I've tend to find like a lot of good ideas coming from all directions, and sometimes you can do them and sometimes you
True.
can't for logistical or like practical reasons, and sometimes it doesn't match with your artistic vision, then fine. But training yourself to listen to others when they're giving feedback, I think it's a big skill, especially when you're doing productions with other people, and especially getting a external producer involved and or working with a studio or whatever. It's tough. It's not easy at all. Um, I think Jason Blum even talks about it at one point when it comes to Get Out,
Okay.
the
Oh, I
director.
love that.
Yeah.
That was fun.
So yeah, I can't remember the exact point, but there was an instance where the director was really mature, like showed his maturity in as an artist, and he was like giving he was basically killing his own darlings to make the film work as a commercial product.
All
uh,
right.
and I think it was to do with the trailer, or I can't remember exact incident, but there was an instance where the marketing department and the producers and the director was talking about a certain thing, and the guy was like, no, you got to do it this way because that's the right thing to do for this purpose. For the
All
film
right.
it's a different story, but you got to go with that because that'll make it different. And that and
It worked.
it worked.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so it worked out. And yeah, so yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. I agree with the statement that you made, like sometimes at when you're an artist, you need, or a filmmaker, you need to be on your own and do your shit before you come to a certain stage. And I agree with it because I practice it. All the feature films that I'm doing, I do it for next to nothing. I do it with whatever the resources that I have in my hand, and I write it, I produce it, I feed the crew, I get everything done by myself. I don't get ask for money from anybody. I save my money from my day job and I do the films. That's how I do them, because that's an experimentation for me. I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm not wasting anybody else's hard-earned money. But when someone actually invests money or pay me to do something, I'm a complete different beast. I think a good example, which is out there right now, you can see is
Spice.
correct. The Spice documentary that I did for Charles versus my feature films. My feature films has tons of issues, technical issues, artistic issues, you name it, everything, because I'm learning. That's my training ground. That's where I earn my grades. And but the moment someone invests in me, then I have a responsibility. that that's a whole different relationship, and I have to respect that. I have to respect the money because I know how to spend money. i've I've spent my own hard earned money and made stuff. I've learned from my own money, not someone else's money. That's my
True.
theory. I train myself with my own hard earned money, and I do the mistakes and I learn from them just by spending my own money. Not everyone can do it, I know, but What kind of can? I wasn't making a lot of money when I was in Colombo, but I
But
was still doing that.
that's an
Yeah.
important point, like
Yes.
the way you put it. Like that's great advice for
Yeah.
anyone. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now you can make films with your mobile phone, and Oscar Mina is doing it. Why can't you? So you can make
Hmm.
your own mistakes and do your own stuff. And then when I train myself like that, doing all the mistakes, when someone invests, I take huge responsibility and huge ownership in that. And when you watch the Spice documentary, up to now, it's
I
one of
thought it
my
was
best
neat.
work.
I
Yeah,
thought it was neat.
yeah, it has hundreds of thousands of views just because it was done well.
What did you
And
shoot it on? I always had that question.
it
I don't know if
was
I asked you that, but
yeah, it was shot on two cameras. One, the main camera was a Canon. What the hell was it?
like a 5D, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was a 5D. I can't remember the
Okay.
exact version, but it was a 5D definitely. And then I had
Mm.
my Nikon D7000. So
Your baby.
yeah, my old baby. Yeah, we shot on those two cameras, and even that we had a steady cam, like a rig, which was like $50 thing, and it was broken, and Anuradha was carrying that bloody thing everywhere we ran, and still like we got like the best possible footages that we can get, and it was a really good production. And it shows in the production because that was a moment where someone invested in me to do something, and I had to take that responsibility and make sure that I don't make the mistakes that I made in my own films, because I've already learned by spending my own time. So
Mm.
I think one has to take ownership in those kind of things. And I also believe, as a filmmaker, you need to mature to a
Mm.
certain level before you take a certain step.
True.
It doesn't necessarily, the age doesn't necessarily matter, because some people can tend to get matured really faster than the others or whatever.
Hmm.
But I think life experiences and all that kind of stuff needs to be there for a
True.
filmmaker,
Mm.
because ultimately you are making telling stories about people and humans and society and all that kind of stuff, whether it's entertaining or not. Art doesn't matter. Ultimately it's about humans. Even if you do a film about aliens, ultimately it's a story about humans, because that's the only point of reference you have. So so you need to be matured along the way. And when
Yeah.
you come to a certain stage, I think then you are ready to take that next step. So it's all learn, crash and burn and learn, that
True.
kind of
True.
thing.
True. True.
Yeah, but that's what I learned as well.
Well, that's great advice. Like yeah, man.
Yeah, and in terms of the tuk audience that you mentioned, I 100% agree. uh, and I always say, like you need to be like local before you go international.
True.
And not only me,
That's
it's
what
not just.
that's what we get wrong. I'm not saying you. I don't know if
Yeah.
you were like that, but I know a bunch of people who kind of screwed up by thinking like that. They
Yeah.
wanted to go Hollywood,
Yeah.
like condemning the local
No.
stuff. Yeah, yes, we lack a lot of things in our
Hmm.
in what we do, like in what we produce in our own country, but we still need to, because like what I learned was like when I was communicating with like Vertigo, and
Hmm.
what they wanted to know is what have you done for your people, like
Hmm. Hmm.
like
Exactly. Yeah,
so
because they want to see your story, not their story.
true.
The Hollywood can make their own films. We don't have to go there and produce their films. No, they can do it. There's enough
Mm,
people. There's 350 million people in USA. There's a lot of people who are talented and can do what
true.
they want to do. So if we go and say, hey, we can do it, nobody cares. But if
True.
we can show something different, something from our own culture and something from our own backgrounds, then that's something fresh. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened to Anurag Kashyap. He wasn't making films for Hollywood. He was making films about his own backyard, his own slums around, people in there, Delhi and Bombay and all that kind of stuff. And people noticed,
Mm,
and they started throwing millions of money at them. Um, so yeah, and now he's of course making Hollywood stuff, but then again he's bringing it back to India. Um,
mm,
I think you have to be local before you think about anything else,
true.
because that's where your audience is. And if you can't do anything for your locals, then I don't know. Because if you can't, um,
Yeah.
I think this particular quote, even the great filmmaker who passed away a few years ago, Abbas Kiarostami, Iranian filmmaker. He said that too. Like, to be international, you have to first be local. You know,
True. I agree on
because
100%.
yeah. So if you don't have, yeah, then you don't have your roots. Then you kind of like look fake.
True.
You
So
know.
if me personally, if I fucked up anywhere, that is
Mm,
where I fucked up. And like whenever I talk to like the younger generation,
mhm.
I always talk about my fuck ups.
Yeah. No.
Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's like I'm not here to talk about like I'm not gonna bullshit to you about
Yeah.
the success shit.
No.
But what I can teach you is why and where I fucked up. And if you
So
can
that you
take
can learn.
anything from that,
Mm.
please take it. I
Yeah.
want your generation to do better than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very important because there's a lot of people out there who talks about success stories but not the fuck ups, and
Hmm.
behind those success stories there's hundreds of failures before they got to that success, and they don't talk about it.
True.
So it's
True.
very important that you talk about it. And we you and I, we kind of like went through this journey together, and we were always talking
Yeah.
to each other like, hey dude, like I'm
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
depressed about it because this project is failing and what to do,
True.
and a lot of people don't see that, and
True.
it's important that people see it because people fail, and that's
Yeah.
part of the story, and you need
True.
to find that hero's journey within you. You fail and you come back, you learn from it, you come back. That's the thing.
So I spent years trying
Everybody
to
does.
please a Hollywood audience
Yeah.
that didn't give a shit about me.
Yeah, I mean, look
Um,
at your friends in Indonesia, the martial art guys,
yeah.
the guys who did Raid and
Eco ways.
Eco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
made local shit.
exactly.
And they
They
still
made a
make shit local
exactly.
in their own fucking language. And they shoot
Exactly.
it in their own country. I mean, he did do like two projects with Mark Wahlberg and one
Yeah,
with Netflix, but
sure, you can do that.
that's that's just like
You get
he's still
paid,
making
you
movies in
yeah,
Indonesia.
exactly. I think Bon Joon-ho said it uh, really well. I mean, I'm blanking on that right now because he won an Oscar for Parasite for the first time in the history, like,
Wow.
best picture and best director.
Mm,
Like, nobody won all those things for an
true.
international picture, which was a foreign language for USA, you know. And so he made a Korean film in Korean language about Korean people, and very something very rooted for them, but it's universally appealing because it's a story about humans, and every society has the same fucking problems.
Hmm.
So when you become very local and when you go to the roots, international people, they relate to it.
Mm,
Oh, this is how
yeah.
these people deal with this problem, we have it too, this is how we deal with it.
True.
So they make that connection, and then it's like mind blowing for them. That's what happens. So, and that's why Bon Joon-ho won the Oscar for Parasite, and that's a fabulous film. I mean,
True.
apart from that, but it was subtitled. People, people always say you people don't read subtitles. No, and
People
and
read it.
and
Mm,
people do. And Bon Joon himself said that in the when he was accepting the Oscar, like, when you go beyond that subtitles, it'll open you up to a whole new world of cinema. uh, that was like,
word. Yeah.
I was like jumping up and down when he was talking about those things, because it's funny because yeah, I was born in Anuradhapura, and I from the very young age, I was watching all kinds of films. Like, I was watching Terminator, Star Wars, and all that kind of stuff at a very young age, as well as I was watching Japanese, Rashomon and Kurosawa films, Hindi, Bollywood stuff, Tamil movies, European stuff. I grew up in that, like, a Sinhalese films like Dadayam and all those kind of things. I was growing up in like a mixed fruit of cinema. And so the languages was never a barrier for me. I didn't even understand English at the beginning. So,
True.
I was just watching them. But when I came here, most people don't have that exposure. Their only exposure is to Hollywood. And
Mm,
unfortunately, and there's very limited amount of people who actually making an effort to go out and watch other stuff. I think that's where this mentality comes, especially people who are out of US or, the American region, trying to please the Hollywood, by doing what they're doing. But it doesn't work
true.
because they know how to do their shit better than anyone else. So, so that's the thing.
But if you look at the positives,
Mhm.
in that attitude, what what you can utilize that attitude to polish up your local product.
Yes.
Like you can give that quality, and
Hmm.
um I can give you a good local example, is Akash and the High
Hmm.
School Junkies.
Yeah.
They
Hmm.
used to think like how I used to think like, and I,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm. Yeah, I know.
I
I
did a
had
lot
this
of
conversation
trips.
with them many times. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean that explains.
Hmm. Yeah, you can learn from the best. You need to know what to borrow from them.
True.
When you're learning from someone, and when you're aspiring to some from some, yeah, you need to know what to borrow and what to keep, leave out. As you said, the discipline, the structures, the how to polish things, how to make things more
Yeah.
appealing, and all that kind of stuff. You can borrow them, the technical stuff
Mm,
and the artistic stuff. But when it comes to story and character, if you're in a different country, you need to be rooted.
true.
You need to tell your own stories, not someone else's stories.
Mm.
That's when it becomes authentic, and it goes through those
And
barriers.
and then if you look at industries, this is why Bollywood is thriving,
Yeah.
because they localize.
Yeah.
They imitate all. Sorry, they copy everything. They copy
Hmm.
all the good movies out
Yeah.
there, but they localize the damn thing.
Hmm.
So your audience will embrace it. And
Exactly.
yeah, like they never gave up, right? I mean, and look at where they are now.
Exactly. And especially yeah, in the Bollywood, well, Anurag and the independent movies, they don't fall under Bollywood, but yeah, they did their own thing, and they actually opened up Bollywood to the world in a different way. uh, but something that I really admire and enjoy is the Malayalam movies.
All right, I haven't watched that many, but
Yeah,
I hear a
there
lot
are
of good things.
there are some really good stuff. I think for Sri Lankans, I think for filmmakers in Sri Lanka, I think they should start watching and learning from Malayalam movies. I mean, I'm not saying 100% copy and paste. That's not what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of similarities in terms of culture and stories and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And when you watch, you'll find them. And I think so. There's a lot to look up to from there. Uh, yeah, and I've been watching some Malayalam movies on Amazon and Netflix. See, they're on Netflix and Amazon.
Mm.
Those things are Malayalam, Telugu, and Kannada, and those kind of languages which nobody really like speaks other than their own natives.
But they
But
have a
people
market,
here
like a
watch.
massive market. Yeah.
They do. That's why they
Mm.
thrive. But when they come here, English-speaking people, they watch them. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there's an audience outside of their own.
Mm.
But yes, it does help for them. It does help because they have a massive audience, for sure. They have like 100 million people who speaks their own language, so they elevate their stuff for sure. And that
True.
the same thing happened to Hindi films. They
Mm.
have a billion people who speaks the same language, so when they put
Yeah.
something out, they pops out.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
so they have that advantage which we don't have.
Mm.
Unfortunately, we have a very small amount of number of people, but I don't think that's a I don't think that's a bad thing. I think again that's a good limitation or a constraint to
True.
break through some for a creative breakthrough.
The local
That's
YouTubers are doing well.
I heard that.
What
I've
do you
seen that.
reckon? Yeah,
I
they're getting
haven't.
millions of views, and like some of them have more followers than Hollywood celebrities or like
Mhm.
artists. Like,
Yeah,
they have like massive followings. Like,
yeah,
I've seen famous guys who's been I'm talking about musicians here, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they've been in the industry for nearly 40 years. They are well respected, like rappers. Like, I'm into
Mm,
rap. So,
mm,
and you go to their YouTube, right? And they only have like 200,000 followers, maybe
mm,
150,000
mm.
followers. And these guys in Sri Lanka are like rocking it. Like,
Yeah,
so that
I
shows the
haven't.
support. And
Yeah,
sorry, you go ahead. Yeah.
exactly. There's a lot of support. Exactly, that's what I'm
And
saying.
the
There's a lot of
appreciation.
support.
Yeah. So
Mm,
we need to nail that with films, like with
yeah,
movies. It's not happening
absolutely.
yet.
No,
Music, yes, people appreciate local music.
yeah,
Like,
short form,
yes.
short form.
The
That's
thing
why.
is, you never look at a song as a short form, though. right? Like it's a song, it's a song, but true, it is short form.
It is short form. Look at like all the constraints that we talked about, the internet prices, the data limitations, and all that kind of stuff. They have a phone, the tuk audience, that's there, they watch the stuff. So they don't have too much money to watch long form on YouTube because they don't have data and all that kind of stuff. So if you make like a 1 hour movie and put it out for the Sri Lankan audience, they're not going to be able to watch it on YouTube.
True.
So if you do like short form, then they can consume it easily on their phones. That's the audience, you know. It's interesting. Have you seen this new platform called QB? QB.
Yes. Can you you
QB.
gonna share your screen, or should I just look it up
Uh,
myself?
yeah, I can share. Kinds of
You're
becomes
talking
like a
about the short form streaming
yeah,
service, right?
yeah. I haven't
Yes, I read.
subscribed to anything.
I read about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Some people
uh,
say that it's a bad idea. Some people say that, well, it's uncertain, but it's still good that someone's trying it out.
it's a good experiment. I say it's a good experiment. Um, yeah, it's short form. It's like 5 to 10 minute short form content.
Even the TV
Uh,
shows, right? They're like short.
everything, everything,
Mm.
everything. It's done by like top guys though. Like it's all the Hollywood producers and stuff like that. So
I personally reckon that it's the future because me
mm,
personally, I don't have time for like I can't commit myself.
mm,
I still do. I do
you still
binge,
do,
but like
yes.
but it's difficult, man. Like
Mm,
with all the plans that we have to
mm-hmm,
implement, and me, running like a family and
mm,
kids, and um like trying to do all that, like it's difficult to sit through like a fucking feature film and like do it all the time. It
mm,
discourages you, but
yeah,
since we are like movie lovers,
we
we force ourselves to
yeah,
like go do it.
but
But
not everybody does it.
no, I don't think so. And I prefer to watch like shorter videos, like
Mm,
so I end up spending more time on YouTube.
mm,
Like like I look at a movie, okay, what's the movie, what's the synopsis, okay, what does the poster look like? The poster is the
mm,
most important thing, right?
mhm.
And okay,
And
what's
they
the
know that.
runtime? What's the runtime? All right, okay.
Runtime is a big thing, yes.
Yeah, it's like, okay, 2 hours. Okay, this is predictable. You think too much. You've seen the movie in your head.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like, nah, I can't fucking do it. I'm just going to watch something on YouTube. And then you end up spending 3 hours on YouTube and you don't even
yep,
know about it. Yeah.
yep. Yeah, pretty much that's what happens for me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, runtime has become a big consideration when it comes to picking movies. I think with Netflix and Amazon Prime and all the other Disney Plus and everything, like there's so many options right now and there's so much content. So time is limited. So I'm always like looking at, oh, how long is this thing? How long is this thing? And even good movies, I keep them for later to
Yeah.
watch. Yeah, so I mean, we are putting that much effort because we are filmmakers and we want to see
True.
them, but not everybody does that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Talking about streaming services, like you living in an American country, um, you have definitely noticed that we have Netflix, we
hmm
have Amazon Prime, we have HBO, we have Hulu, we have Disney Plus, and then we have all that I haven't mentioned.
mm,
So if an individual is to, subscribe to all of these services, it's gonna cost a fuckload of money.
hmm
Um, is that even practical?
yeah. So interesting business shift that I've been like looking at over the last few years, because here the majority of them earlier they had the cable TV. That was like with your internet, your phone connection, you get the cable TV connection. Just like
Okay.
in Dialog TV or Pure TV in Sri Lanka, you get the cable TV connection, and then you can decide how many channels you need, and the price goes up and down depending on the channels.
Okay.
So people were paying anywhere between $30 per month to $100 per month, depending on how many channels you have. And then
Okay.
and then about 3 years ago, there was a time it was called cord cutting. People were canceling their TV subscriptions. They went completely without them and started subscribing to Netflix and all that kind of stuff. Now that's also stacking up. $10 here, $10 there, $10 here. So it's stacking up for sure. And what I usually do is I subscribe. I have Netflix throughout, and I subscribe for another service for about 6 months or a year until I watch everything that I want to watch. Cancel, go to another one. Stay there for 6 months, cancel, go to another one. So that's what I've
Okay.
been doing. Yeah,
But it's kind of hard to keep up, right?
it's hard to keep up. Yeah,
I don't know how that's gonna
yeah.
work. So what, in my research, what I've realized is like most of the people would be subscribed to Netflix because it's available globally
Mm,
now,
mm, mm.
and they just pirate the rest.
Yes.
That's what they do.
Here, the pirating is almost non-existent right now.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Is that because of
because of streaming and the availability. It's cheap.
it's cheap? Okay.
It's
All right.
cheap enough. You subscribe to Amazon. It's like $7. It's nothing
All
per
right.
month. It's like it's like a you go to Starbucks, you pay $7 to have a coffee and something.
True.
You know,
Yeah. True.
it's the same price, so it's
Yeah.
not much. So per a month, but in Sri Lanka, it's slightly bigger amount. Uh, so like personally, I haven't pirated anything for the last 8 9 years I've been here. One, you have the streaming services, the internet is there, and the accessibility, and then there's like a lot of DVD places to rent, and a good library system where I can order stuff that's not available anywhere. So everything that I wanted to watch, I could gather from somewhere.
You have no reason to pirate.
I have no reason to pirate,
Yeah.
which is great because ultimately it goes back to the creators. But
True.
in countries like Sri Lanka and all the other places, it's tough,
Like,
and this,
yeah.
yeah, I'm not against
Coming.
pirating. Yeah, oh yeah.
Coming again to Netflix and their catalog.
Mm.
Uh, you know this that like in Sri Lanka and New Zealand we don't get what you guys get.
Yeah, yeah.
We only get
That's
like 15 to 20% like of what you guys get in like in Canada and in the
yeah,
US.
yeah. That sucks because it's all to do with distribution rights, territory rights, and that's a
True.
problem. So
And
unless it's
VPNs don't work that well anymore. Even if
no,
they do,
they
they
crack
only
down
work
on
for like
them.
a short while. Yeah.
Yeah, they crack down on it. I used to watch US Netflix for a while through a VPN, and then they tracked.
But is there like a big difference
Now, not
between
really.
Canadian? Okay.
It depends. It depends because some of the shows or movies, it goes territory based. Sometimes they would have US rights and not international rights, and then they would have international rights for like an year or two, and then they would cancel. So
Okay.
things come up and down, or like they pop up and disappear as well. So
Mm.
like I find I try to look for Asian and European content a lot, and I it's hard to find them sometimes.
All right.
Yeah, that's due to territory issues. Especially like
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Gaspar Noé, and his
Uh,
recent film Climax. It's not available in any of the fucking streaming services. It's available on Amazon, but only for US.
all right.
So things like that.
So you haven't watched it yet?
No, I want to watch it in like a good quality and in a bigger screen and all that kind of stuff. So I'm
Okay.
waiting for a. Otherwise, I could pirate it, but I wanna wait. That's an
All right.
experience. Otherwise, I would do
Cool.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's interesting. I think one Sri Lankan film made it to Netflix.
Yeah. Someone told me
Asoka.
that, but I couldn't find it though.
Yeah, Handagama's film. I can't remember the name now. I even
It's
screened it at
not
a
there.
festival.
Like I tried to look
No,
for
it's
it
not there
on.
now. It was years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Because like, mm, I tried to look for it on Netflix, Sri
Not.
Lanka, India.
Oh.
Then I tried to look for it on Netflix, New Zealand, Australia,
Okay.
and I couldn't find it. And also,
Yeah.
I tried to look at it, the US catalog, but it didn't
No.
exist because someone told me about this.
Yeah. Yeah. Let Her Cry. That was the film.
All right.
Yeah. It was available here in Canada. I saw it because I
What
screened
was
this.
it? What's the
Sorry. Go ahead.
singular title? What's the Sinhalese title? Let Her
Let me
Cry?
see. E-
It can't be at Ananda then, right?
No, no, no. I think Agiasa Agal Ihmu Kakarido
Oh
Adi.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Agiasa
yeah.
Saga Agiasa Saga, yes, yeah. Uh, yeah, this was 2016.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I
it's not
screened this
that old.
film.
It's like
No,
okay.
not that old. No, I screened this at the Tasvir Film Festival in
Oh
Seattle.
damn it, man! I have this on DVD.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, but it wasn't Netflix quality though.
It was on Netflix for at least a couple of years.
For real.
Yeah,
Like
2017, 2018, something like that. I
it
think
I'm talking about quality here, right? Like I
production.
mean
Yeah,
Netflix, they
yeah.
demand
Well,
standards and they have a list of cameras
yeah, but I don't think in 2016 they had that.
they cared.
No, yeah,
And it's still like even now it's subjective, right? It depends
it's
like I mean,
subjective. Depending
hmm.
depends on the on your film or TV series and the notoriety you have.
But
So
that's if you do like well in the festival scene or if you make yourself like a viral name or something
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
that,
exactly.
then they consider.
Yeah,
But
as long as you
otherwise
have a
they
name,
have a list of cameras
cameras,
and
post
the
production
way
stuff.
you deliver your artwork and
Mm.
your stuff because they want to color your film, you know that, right?
Yes, they do a lot of things. Yeah,
They don't give a shit about what you how you colored it.
no, no.
Yeah, they want to
And sometimes
recolor it because
sometimes
you
the
get
movies looks crappy on Netflix.
they all look alike to me sometimes and I get tired of that
Yeah,
look sometimes.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I think after several years there will be like a meme going like Netflix look,
Mm.
because there is a look for that.
Yeah, 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 true. And what's your opinion on the orange and teal look? I'm so sick and tired
I'm
of it.
getting sick of that.
I mean, I like it when it's done like properly,
Appropriately.
like when I don't give a shit, like when you don't really notice it, but it's there,
Mm,
like when it's subtle,
mm.
um, then you don't notice it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then it works for you.
And when it's
But
appropriate for the movie or the setting.
yes, but then I see, all right, like I'm just, saying out what I feel, right? That
Yeah,
doesn't mean that,
it's the
um,
yeah, yeah.
yes, even like YouTube content creators and people who go on Zoom create orange and teal. I know
Really?
I have teal there, right?
Oh
But
yeah,
but yeah, you get what I mean, right?
yeah, yeah,
Uh, uh, so it's getting annoying now.
yeah. It's too much.
Yeah,
Too much of the same thing. It kills it.
true.
That's what happens. Too much of a good thing. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I
And
I
this
I
is
I like the raw look. That's my favorite. Like
the '90s
when it's
look,
no
early
19th Hollywood,
2000s,
19th Hollywoods, not Hollywood. I'm
'90s.
talking. I like the raw, like realistic, grungy looks.
Oh, okay, all right,
That's
okay,
that's my favorite stuff, but not everybody's.
true. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I colored your film, and then yeah, I remember you wanting the.
No, you did it good.
No, what I mean is you didn't want fancy bullshit. Like you
No,
wanted
I
it to
didn't.
look,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, and it looked so
yeah.
good.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the movie. I thought that it would be difficult to go. I'm being honest, right?
yeah, yeah,
Brutally honest, because it's an art house, like
yeah,
indie,
mm,
low budget feature. Like I was
yeah,
like, okay, this is gonna be painful, but I'm gonna,
yeah,
do it for
yeah.
you and for us. And but then like I fell in love with the movie. I thought that it was really genuine and honest effort. Um, and I highly recommend you know my listeners to check it out. I should post a link or
Yeah, you can. I'll send you the links later on. But I
and
still
now that
remember. I still remember when you sent me the screen grabs of the color graded screenshots of the film, and I saw them and I was like, holy fuck, this looks so good. Because I didn't
okay,
expect that because we shot on
all right,
DSLR and we shot everything
yeah,
in
yeah,
4 days
yeah.
and it was crappy. And when you sent me the color graded shots, I was like, that was unreal. And I showed them to people who worked on it and everybody was like, what the hell? That's the screen grab
For
from the
real.
movie. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
real. I'm,
All right.
I'm saying it for real.
Okay.
So
Okay.
because it's tough when you watch it on a screen because the the screen resolutions and all that kind of stuff differs, so you don't see it. But when you send a screen grab, it's there. Like when you project it on a screen, you can't see everything, and it differs from projector to projector and the screen that you're watching. So it's hard. But when you sent me the screen grabs, it was mind blowing.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I loved
Okay.
it.
Cool. So yeah, that's a good movie. I encourage, and it's free now. I mean, you're generous
It's free.
enough to, you know,
Yeah.
it's just your data, right? Your data.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, that's not even a
Exactly.
problem for the rest of the world.
It
So
might it might scroll a few ads.
who cares, man?
Yeah. Exactly. So it'll give me some
Yeah. So
bucks.
do check it out.
Yeah.
An
Thank you.
imperfection. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to finish Dishti and move on to the next one as well.
I'm
So
so looking forward to seeing it because what drew my interest towards it is you working with the drummer. What's his name?
oh, Jananath.
Jananath. You
Yeah.
you know you had a studio session with him. I so
Mm,
wanted to be there.
yeah.
It's just the whole idea of like you guys working together and like
Mm.
um how would you explain that process? You were using like
Yeah. So um, when we were thinking about the music, and it's a horror. It's like a grindhouse, like low budget horror film, and it's an experiment. So I can do whatever the hell I want to do. And I wanted to bring in the Sri Lankan drumming into the musical elements instead of the usual horror music. Those kind of like used and cliche stuff. It works for every other thing, but I wanted to experiment with local stuff, and placing something from a completely different culture and put it here and see what happens. And our drums have that kind of like really creepy moods. So um so yeah, when Eranga and I contacted Jananath, and he was like, yeah, I'll do it for you guys. And then I was like super pumped because he's such a talented, such a skilled guy.
true.
And him doing a favor for us and recording some drum solos, that was like unreal. And then Pasan Lianage was generous enough to lend us his studio and his time to record everything, and it was a blast. Yeah. and
I'm
uh,
so
and
looking forward to see everything together. So please, yeah.
oh yeah, 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 it was a blast. And the stuff that's coming out of it is super cool. The Jonathan is like mixing uh, all the drums and his own music. I'm trying to play something for you. Let me see if I can
All
make it
right.
happen. uh, I'm gonna play it right now. Let me know if you can hear.
All right. No,
Can you hear?
I hear something. Yeah, I heard something.
Yeah, but you heard the drums and
Yeah,
how
that's
it's
like some weird
incorporated.
shit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it gives you the creeps.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
It's weird. It's different. And
it's very different. Yeah,
yeah,
and yeah, that's what I always like experiment on. Trying to do something
whoa.
different and see how
Okay,
it
I'm
will.
excited now. I'm even more
Yeah,
excited. Okay.
yeah.
So
So
who's mixing it? Jonathan is mixing it?
Jonathan, yeah, Jonathan,
All right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He's a
Jonathan
brother
is
from
the
Candy too, right?
he's a Candy. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's from Candy. Jonathan and the Streetlight Mist, Sean Sansoni, and yeah. I haven't involved Sean yet in any vocals
Okay.
for this film, but Johnny is doing all the music. So if we do any vocals, he's gonna be definitely involved as well.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, these guys bought you an award, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah. So, uh, I mean, yeah, they're amazing. So, yeah, I wanna do more stuff. And this is what I love. I love fusion. I love when two cultures get mixed and create
Mm.
something new. That's fun.
That's
When
what
you
some
get,
people can't do, right? But
I guess so.
us, we can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, when put two things from different places together and see what comes out, that's freaking amazing. So I enjoyed that process. So yeah, at least for the music, I'll finish the movie because the
I mean,
music
I
will be
want to
pretty.
fucking watch it for the music now.
Exactly. That's what I said.
Yeah.
The movie will be
You
crap, but
have
the
an
music will be fucking
awesome
amazing. So
soundtrack. Yeah. You can have like
I'll try to. Yeah, I already have awesome soundtrack. Um, and I don't know whether you noticed it or whether it was clear, but we used a Sri Lankan lullaby in the mix.
mhm.
The classic lullaby doi 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 baba.
Oh no, no, no. I didn't. Oh, that's
We
even
used
creepier
that
now.
that
Fuck.
that
All right.
tune with the drumming and the whole melody. Like
Oh,
it's
all right.
based on that
Okay.
those notes.
That's
It's not
even creepier, man.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get something which is very soft and cute, and you turn it into a freaking creepy thing.
When am
It's a
I
lot.
gonna when am I gonna see it? Like, I
Soon.
mean, should I am I gonna have to wait until like the rest of the
No, 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 no. You'll
what?
see.
Yeah.
See the stuff before that. Um,
Okay. How
give
far
me a
along
couple of
though?
weeks. You'll see a copy of a rough form,
All right.
but you'll see something.
Okay. Do I
I'm
have to
gonna.
wait for like the VFX to be completed or
It's up to you.
No, I
If you
want to
want to.
see it. I can't fucking wait now. Like,
Okay. Okay.
no, but
All right.
you decide. I'm just saying what I feel.
I mean,
Um,
I wish I can show you with the VFX, because then you'll see that side as well. Because what
mm,
Rumesh kind of like did samples for, I'm super fucking excited.
all
He
right.
did like a
Okay.
few seconds of samples from existing footages, and I was like, I literally jumped out of my couch when because I watched it on the phone. He sent me a message, and then I was like, holy, what
All
the
right.
hell is this? And I can't wait for him to start doing those for real.
Okay.
Yeah. I can do a screen share for a scene if you want that.
Sure. Yeah.
But let me line up first. And okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you I don't know whether you can recognize, but that's Erin from Imperfection.
I'm a big fan of her. Yeah.
I know that. Okay, here we go.
Brandon. Brandon! Stop trying to scare me. I mean it. Do this. Brandon. God.
Nice.
Could you hear it? Because it was coming from the external mic, I guess.
I heard it. I
Okay,
heard it.
that was just yeah. Here we go. Another one.
Kate? What the fuck are you doing? I paid for that. Chris, you're a fucking asshole. I hate you. Fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that I wish I did differently.
Hmm.
Story
But don't
and
we
like the
always do? Okay. All right.
exactly, that's the thing. And so that's why I'm like, I can't wait until I get the VFX stuff done, because
Hmm.
it's gonna look completely different once that's done.
Okay.
Completely different from what it is right now. It's
I
gonna,
understand. Obviously.
you know
Yeah.
yeah. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting experiment. And some of the comments that I got from the test audiences or people who I showed, like, this has sort of like, that cult horror vibe.
True. It definitely does. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of a thing. So I'm super happy if that's the case.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, that's when
yeah,
it's gonna be special. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's not to say that it's a perfect horror film or people's gonna get scared or anything, but it'll have sort of an aesthetic quality that's different. Hopefully,
True.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I really want to watch it.
Yeah,
But yeah.
it's an experiment. Like, it's not the perfect story or whatever. There'll be a lot of areas where, like, oh, what the fuck. But
Hmm. What do you mean?
overall,
Like, what the fuck? Is it like plot holes or?
yeah, plot holes and screw ups that we made on the way. I mean, end of the day, it was done for no budgets, and a
Hmm.
bunch of hungry actors, and a bunch of hungry crew members together. So it's not like a well thought of production, or like well planned Hollywood production or whatever. It's a
Hmm.
guerrilla film. Essentially, it's a guerrilla film that was done on the go.
Mm.
So it'll have those visible issues, but I
Hmm.
think those visible issues, as long as they serve as a stylistic effect to the
Yeah.
entire experience, I think that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
yeah, yeah. If someone comes to watch like a glossy, polished up Hollywood type movie, no, that's not gonna be it. It's gonna be a major failure if in that case. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've got like a vast library of polished movies out there if
Mm.
you wanna watch them, right?
Exactly. So
So this is you're not catering,
no, not
not
catering to
sorry,
that at all.
catering to that. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
it's not wrong. Yeah,
yeah, I'm not catering to that at all. Uh, so
but
yeah,
that's
it's
that's
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I feel that it'll work. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. For a while, I was so disappointed with it, and I thought, oh, this is done. But then I restarted the process and came to a point. I was like, oh, okay, this is this is going a direction that I like.
You
It
took
might
a
not be.
long break.
I took a long break. Well, that break was not necessarily because of the film, but I had a lot of life events that happened
Mm,
during a full year. That kind of
mm,
like if you're putting it in a visual reference, it's like someone picking you up from your ankle and like hitting on ground like repeatedly. That's the kind of like
yeah,
year
yeah.
year and a half I had. So with my dad dying and a bunch
I
of
understand.
other
Mm,
stuff following, so there was a good year and a half where I couldn't focus on anything, you know,
yeah.
uh, for sure. So that kind of delayed things drastically, and I think kind of like my disappointment in the film kind of like piled up on top of those personal stuff, and I was hard on myself or the film more than I should have been, I guess.
Hmm. Any
So
advice for filmmakers? You know, based on what you just mentioned, like
yeah. Mm.
anything that you could share, like.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's advice or like from the experience that I got. I think it's good to take a break.
Hmm.
I
On
think that's
anything, right? This
on
is not
anything.
just
No,
filmmaking.
anything. It's good to take a break. It's good to step away and gather your energy and come back. And
I
you
agree.
and yeah, and you look at
I've
things.
done that too. It.
I know you've done that. Yeah, exactly. And you look at things in a very different perspective when you come back, and then things start get connecting.
True.
Than like even if it is like, okay, let's forget about all the life events and blah blah blah. Even let's say like, you're editing a film, you're in it for days and weeks, and you don't see the problems that you're encountering, and you don't know how to fix certain things. You step out,
True.
you shut it down, go out for a vacation or whatever. After several days you come back, start seeing the connections, and you make it. It's the same story for life and
True.
creative projects. So I guess, yeah, take a break. If you're stuck, take a break, walk out and do something else, live life, and come back to it. It'll be
Mm.
always there. It's not a race. I think
Well, that's what people don't get, man.
that's what people don't get exactly. uh, I don't think I was ever in the race.
Mm.
I don't think I was ever in it. I never wanted to be in
I
the
guess
race.
so. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Come to think about it, like, yeah, I don't think you gave a shit about any
No,
races.
no. I was going on my own journey. For me, creativity is my passion, and I enjoy, and like my life has drastically changed because of that. And a lot
Hmm.
of things I've got a lot of good things to my life because I'm a filmmaker and artist. Not in terms of money, but in terms of life value. Experiences that I've got purely thanks to the filmmaking journey. I wouldn't have ever got that experience without that. And so for me, creativity is a journey, and I don't have an end goal or something that I enjoy the journey. I don't have to achieve anything. I'm already enjoying the fucking journey.
I understand that.
You have
That's
frustrations. Yeah, you have frustrations along the way. That's one thing, but you need to enjoy the journey.
and that's difficult to achieve, right? I mean, it sounds well. It's easy to get there if you know how to do it, but
Mm,
for someone who isn't used to this way of thinking, like if you're
mm,
a sheep, then it's
mm.
gonna be difficult, right? But
Very much. Yeah,
if you do it, it is a form of enlightenment, I reckon.
I think so. And social media doesn't help either. You
Mm,
always like Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I spend a very little time on social media now.
Yeah.
A few minutes on Instagram, just go through like the feed, see if anything is on in my
Mm,
inbox, reply if I have to.
mm,
I have also ended up missing out a lot of posts that my friends upload,
mm.
and I think I have disappointed them by not liking, because
That's fine.
it's an important thing, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone doesn't think the same way.
No.
Um, but personally, I feel peaceful. Less time on that, more
Mm,
time on what you're trying to create
mhm,
or develop, and
mm.
the people around you. And where I'm living now. Like I live
Mm.
in the mountains and
Yeah, yeah.
enjoy time with nature. Mm, yeah, it's been working out for me really
Mm.
well.
I know because there was a time where you were super stressed out with
Oh, I
work
hated it.
and stuff. Ugh, that was a
Mm,
dark time. Yeah, I remember that.
I was never born to be a suit.
No, same here.
So, yeah, that was a phase. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was going through when we
yeah,
met at a
yeah,
point. Yeah,
yeah. After we met.
way after
Yeah,
we met,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
I think yeah, that whole like when you start comparing yourself, having, oh, you need to achieve certain achieving certain things in the sense like achieving things that the society has made, not real things but
true.
societal expectations. That's the problem. You having a personal target, that's fine. You
Yeah,
should have your own goals and targets and way to get there and all that kind of stuff. But if you try to align those goals and targets to the societal expectations, you're done. You're
social
done.
media can do that to you.
Very much.
I'm not saying that it's bad, because we
It's
all
not bad.
need
Yeah.
social media to self-distribute,
Hmm.
you know.
Everything. Yeah.
Um, but
It's
if
like
you
a
get
knife.
obsessed, yes, oh yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, it's a
Yeah.
knife.
You need to know how to use it.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm very low in activity right now. I know you might have seen like I hardly
Oh yeah,
post. Yeah,
true.
yeah. uh, but
Sometimes I wonder if I have missed anything, and I just,
mm,
just visit your profile, and no, nothing
nope,
much
nope,
has been
nope.
updated.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I like it that way. I think that's part of the whole maturity thing too. So
Mm.
uh, and
While maintaining your social media presence, but
mhm.
don't um, get too carried away and obsessed by it. Is
Yeah,
that,
use it as a
yeah?
tool. Yeah,
Mm.
use it as a tool to to benefit yourself and your work, and leave it at that. Uh, yeah, yeah. It can get to you. It can get to you.
Yeah,
And yeah,
we've been on uh, for a long time. We
yeah, I
started
know.
at 6. It's
I
like
didn't.
the
I didn't
third
feel the
hour.
time though.
It's definitely like a Joe Rogan podcast now.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's lengthy, but it's a
Yeah.
good one. I really I'm still enjoying. But I think we're running out of things now. What do you reckon?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it's good to end something, and
Yeah.
it was super fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Mm.
I think this is what I wanted to. It's not to talk about me or whatever. Just you and me jamming and talking about stuff that's important and sometimes nonsense. Hopefully, people will get something out of it as
Oh,
well.
definitely.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the process. It's beyond what I expected. I didn't really know what to expect,
Yeah.
because I've been running a few experimental,
Mm,
you know,
mm,
talks with some of my friends, and I think this is the most successful. And it's not an experiment. This is going.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I really appreciate the time you gave
Absolutely.
me.
Thank you.
It was excellent, and I am looking forward to having you on the show in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm definitely down to do more of these things. Even just to chat with you and spend some time together. That alone is
Yeah,
pretty awesome. So,
that's gold.
'cause-
It's gold.
yeah, exactly, it's
Yeah,
gold, and we don't get to do that anymore. Yeah, and
true.
we are in two different countries, so
Yes,
this is golden.
this was an excellent session. So
Absolutely.
like, yeah, once again, like on behalf of everyone, I thank you again for your valuable time, because I know that you're like super busy, and also you're completing your movie right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so until we meet again.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, thanks, man.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone for tuning in with the Martenstyn encounter.
We didn't talk about any conspiracy theories, but that could be a topic for next
Well,
time.
that's the next episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty then.
All
I
right.
think that's about it for the podcast. Thank you so much
Yep.
for listening in, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.